Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Today, a matchup of perennial national powers. The Nebraska Cornhuskers in town taking on the Penn State Nittany Lions.
The Cornhuskers trying to do something about it with 6:52 remaining in the third quarter. Incognito's back in there at left tackle. Second down and goal. Josh Davis has been a workhorse on this drive so far. Now it's Jamal Lord on the keeper. Touchdown.
Delani Cross is the tailback. They give it to him. Touchdown, Nebraska. Touchdown, Nebraska. Princey and Numa on a little slant. Ron Kellogg comes off the bench and leads the Cornhuskers down the field for 6. Under pressure. So the lead is 6 for the Nittany Lions. Kenny Bell's going to start for the 1-yard line. And Bell, he's got a chance. What kind of speed does the young fella have? Bell's got the kicker to beat, and he does. There he goes. It's going to be a touchdown, Nebraska.
They want us to play on national TV, so I love it.
Johnson, 45 to midfield. Blockers out in front, 45-40. Left sideline to the 30. Breaks a tackle. Tiptoes the boundary. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Huskers. Oh, that was incredible.
You got to win now.
Rolls right, looks left, throw back on the wheel route. Johnson's got it at the 22, 20, 15, 10. Johnson breaks the tackle. He's in. Touchdown, Huskers. Imaliava, snap, pressure comes, design, roll out left. Imaliava flips the hips, now throws, batted away, incomplete. Deshaun Singleton coming over, said, get that out of here.
When you run the football and take shots and play great defense, the games are going to be close.
And the Huskers, big win here at the Rose Bowl. Final score, 28-21 over UCLA.
We have 2 big-time Big Ten teams left, and that will, how we play will affect how we feel about our season. So just show up every week and just focus on that week, and I think our players do a great job of that.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat headquarters. Austin, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union.
You almost forgot the sponsor. We needed that.
Can't forget about our friends over at Centris. Austin, how are we doing this morning?
Tired, but we're making it through, aren't we? I feel like I'm so far away from you. I'm so sorry.
You want to reach out? No?
Well, I saw TK and Chad said that Hire stopped playing as the stream started, so you're welcome, TK. Which is actually probably the most ideal way to start a Friday
I think
morning.
so, yeah. Creed directly into the morning show. I think that is the way God intended it. Just,
into my veins.
Just mainline it straight into the bloodstream.
That's what you were doing this morning. You were. I came in the room setting up everything, and you were just like big needling that thing.
That is not what was. There was a big needle involved.
There was a big needle.
I wasn't mainlining anything. We were refilling the insulin cartridge on the old pump there.
Is that like nitrous for you? Is that like Need for Speed?
No.
You're like, oh no, I'm supercharged. You got like hot take needles, like you got all those going on.
That's more like life support if you want a co-host to do the show with this morning. That's what the insulin is.
Okay, fair.
No,
I will say it. I desperately need you this morning. I don't need this day to get any more difficult than what it already is. We're doing it from headquarters. We've got producers all over we've got 3 producers in 3 different locations today.
What could go wrong?
No, nothing. Nothing will go wrong.
DB's in Lincoln getting on his way to State College Hill.
Funky Giblet says ping and ping today.
TK says Ravi pumped the Bane juice before this.
Oh,
no.
You think insulin is your ally?
I do think insulin is my ally.
Well, I was born with it.
I was born with it. I lost it. It abandoned me.
Diabetes Bane would be very funny. Like underrated, right? Like Diabetes Bane.
Oh, you think sugar is your ally?
I'm sorry, Batman. Give me 1 minute.
That the blinded by it line is a lot realer in that scenario.
They expect one of us in the wreckage, brother.
I was blinded by it. Almost, Bane. Almost.
Oh man!
Shout out Dr. Prillick for saving those eyeballs.
You know, for as good as those movies are, they're like really, really quotable, but
Yeah.
not for like. Obviously, those are the significant moments of the movies too. But you like I'm not the one wearing hockey pads is hilarious in that sense too. Like in The Dark Knight, I'm trying to think like. I don't think the first one has as many quotable stuff. I haven't went back and got Batman Begins.
Well, it's because the villain isn't as iconic as Bane or the Joker. Like Ra's al Ghul, A, isn't in as much of the movie, I don't feel like.
Yeah, that's fair.
And B, is not quite as iconic as...
Although I used to quote it in college with my friends because the lady that introduces... You remember like the whole ballroom scene before he burns down the Wayne Mansion?
Yeah.
The lady goes, now, did I get that right? It's Ra's al Ghul? We used to say that all the time. We'd like go to a bar and like give your ID. The guy would be like, "Oh, like what's your name?" Like, you know, just ask you something about your ID, and you'd be like, "Oh, did you say Ra's al Ghul?"
That's like when I go to your part of the state.
Okay,
and people try and
what does that mean?
People try and pronounce my name. They're like, "Is that Ravi Lulla?" Almost.
I think we're almost unrobbied. That's kind of nice, right?
Yeah, for
like,
the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're out on most of the robbies.
Was that a goal in your career to be unrobbied?
Not necessarily.
You thought it was just like a cascading effect, like over time people will get my name correct.
You would think so eventually, but also it does help that we're mostly digital now, or all digital now, so you can see my name on almost everything that we do, which is helpful.
I feel like when you see it, you get it right the very first time.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. You're just like, oh, I get it. That makes sense. But you know, it kind of is what.
Yeah,
it
but
is.
and then hearing it's a whole different issue. But you know, especially when someone's over the phone, they're just like, "Oh, it's okay, Robbie, I'm here for you." All right, thanks. All right, if you say so.
Rico says, "Is that Han Ricky?"
Wow, that's mean. I just say Radio Rico AC. That's what I go for.
See, TK says Reginald Boat Shoes Lulla. If I had adopted a white name like my father, I don't know what I would have gone with.
Ooh,
my dad goes by Andy. That's obviously not his given name. There's not a lot of natural born Andys over in India. So yeah, I don't know what I would have gone with.
That was one thing when I was at UNK. There was this big, and I don't know like how to describe it, like initiative maybe amongst the staff where. If you had like foreign exchange students that came in, because UNK has this a really big populace of foreign exchange students that will arrive from really any country, and they didn't want the like I guess U.S. born citizens, right, to rename the foreign exchange students to like Alex or whatever, to just be like, hey, recognize them by their name. And so we all tried for a full year, and even like the foreign exchange students were like, please stop. Like none of you are getting this right.
This is actually incredibly offensive.
Yes.
Please just use our chosen white names.
And I worked at the front desk at the rec center. So I was always scanning IDs, and that was a big thing. They had a huge meeting with us where they sat us all down and said, okay, when you scan someone in, look at their ID and say their name back to them and say, hey, thanks for being here. Like, enjoy your workout, blah, blah, blah. And the first week was just hell because you were like scanning IDs and you were like, and so you'd be like, how do you pronounce your name? And they'd say it and you're like, you have a great workout.
Like, that actually didn't help me at all.
Because you hear it for the very first time and you're looking at it and you're attempting your best and you're trying to be a good person, right? Like it's all like for good intention.
Also, the problem is if you are not used to hearing names in that language and with their native accent, you're never going to get it.
Yeah.
That's even true for me with other people's Indian names. Like people with Indian accents pronounce my name differently than I do. And that's true for all names. So if like you are not used to the accent, you could have that thing down and have no idea what they're saying.
Yeah, it's never been a problem for me. Everyone's always gotten Austin.
Austin's
never been
nailed it.
Yep. Bang. Bang.
What's the accent you have to say Austin with?
I don't know. It's always the misspellings that annoy me though, because I like if someone doesn't get your name right, they might write out Robbie, or they might like spell it weirdly, and you're just like, oh, that's clearly not correct. The most egregious one I ever had was OSSTUN, which I was like, who spells their child's name Austin like that? Like, where did that even come about?
I don't know. There's some millennial parents that are doing some weird things. That is
true.
Spelling.
Yes.
There's probably a GH in there somewhere in the next generation of
I met a Sapphire at the grocery store the other day.
Oh,
and it was on her name tag. It was SAPHYRE.
That's not how you spell Sapphire. That's 2 strikes right off.
Ooh, Headley, can you give Austin a foreign name?
I will. We'll see if we can give you an Indian name. We'll switch it around. You can choose my white name.
Okay.
And then I will choose your Indian
yours
name.
Isn't it just Rob? I mean, people already assigned that to you, right?
Kind of. You could kind of choose though. Usually it starts with the first letter, but you can kind of do whatever you want.
Right.
You know? Like my brother's name is Raj, so he'd probably go Roger. If I had to guess.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
It's spelled different, like R-A-J.
Mm-hmm.
It's technically Rajesh, but like he goes by Raj, and then you go Roger. Makes it easy, but
Roger's fun.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
he could do Randy if you wanted.
Randy would be sick.
Ronald
would be good.
We did get a couple of Reginalds in here.
I do like Reginald. It kind of fits your character too.
Yes. What character is that, Austin?
Highfalutin. I mean, TK said earlier, boat shoes. Like,
I do love a boat shoe.
Not exclusive to boats.
No, summertime. It's a good fashion.
Summertime is a good season.
I love summertime.
Not football season though.
Yeah, it's true.
Has it come to you yet that you've realized we only have 2 weeks left of the college football season?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty bummed about it. I'm trying not to think about it.
Okay, I'm sorry, bro.
No, it's fine.
Does it also hurt more that this is the SEC bye week as well?
It doesn't hurt more. I am pretty annoyed by it because it totally ruins the slate, right? Like the slate of games.
Yeah, but Tennessee and Kentucky are playing.
Cool. Kentucky sucks.
But they took Texas to overtime.
Congrats. Quality losses don't matter. I know you listen every day. Come on, bud.
No, this is everyone's favorite part of the morning. We're only 13 minutes in, and I'm already poking the bear.
No, it is the it's the worst, probably second worst weekend of the year. Usually like week 2 or week 3, there is just like a just dog doo-doo slate of games.
I think it's usually 3 more than 2.
I can't remember. It used to always be 2. I think it's sort of shifted to 3 now, where people try and get decent games in early. But I don't know. Like, A, I'm annoyed because of the 8 conference games. B, I'm annoyed because it ruins the slate. And C, all of these SEC teams are just going to be like, well, look at how many wins we have. Look at how great we did. It's like, you played Samford. They're 1-10.
Yeah.
Samford's 1-10.
Yeah.
That's bad.
See, and that's the other part too, is like Kentucky played a tough FCS game a couple weeks ago. I think it was Tennessee Tech, and they did boat race them. But then you still look at it and you're like, okay, well, you're an SEC school. You're a Power 5 school against an FCS school. This is what you should do.
Yeah.
Like, this is not like noble of you to be able to say, hey, tip of the cap, congratulations. But is it more frustrating just because of like where it is in the season too?
100%.
Just because it's in the heart of their conference season, and it's essentially, hey, we've got the biggest rivalries in the sport is what they'll say, and we got to get healthy for them. So everyone gets this week off. Everyone just gets to hang out.
Yeah, because Ohio State, Michigan is famously overlooked.
Right.
Yes. Wait a second. No, it's not.
It's literally called the game.
It's the game. And it really angers me because you've got, it always brings in like this SEC superiority. It's like, well, we play the toughest schedule, so we need a little week off in November, which I'm thrilled where Nebraska's second bye week landed this year.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at the schedule preseason, this is phenomenal. Like the 2 bye weeks came at almost the perfect times.
I would agree. I think that is I think it's set up really nicely for Nebraska, but they also didn't get credit for a win in that week either.
That is true.
Which the SEC is going to in their bye week.
Yeah.
Oh, and also they still get 2 bye weeks because that's how the season works.
Mm-hmm.
So it is it just makes me mad at the SEC all over again every year at this week because of how ridiculous it is. They try and paint themselves as this, this conference of superiority, and they're like, oh, but just kidding. We're going to play these little sisters of the poor in week 14 of the college football season. And everybody's going to pretend like it's okay. It's not. It's stupid. If you want to play those games at the beginning of the season like everybody else, that's fine. But also, finally, they're going to play a 9th conference game eventually. But play your 9 conference games, play those games at the beginning of the season like an adult, and then get into your conference schedule. Quit doing this nonsense and giving yourselves... Like, it is a huge it's a huge advantage to be able to just basically rest your starters for a half in the middle of November.
Yes.
Like, it's crazy because then you go rivalry week, conference championships, and then bowl season. So if you're playing at a high level, I would actually argue that I think this had a lot to do with, obviously the SEC was very good, especially in like the 2010s. But I think that actually had a lot to do with some of their dominance in the postseason was because of the way they set their schedule up. I also think part of the Big Ten struggles in the postseason for a long time was because they didn't have a Big Ten championship game. So they waited literally a month and a half between the end of November and when they would finally play in a championship game or a high profile bowl game. The timing of these things matters.
Yeah.
When you've got a week off and then you get to play 2 weeks and then you're only 4 weeks out from a title game or a BCS game or a New Year's Six game, as opposed to not playing a title game, not having any rest, and then just sitting for 6 weeks. That's not a great way to set up a schedule. Nobody would set up a schedule that way.
Right.
So thank you. You're welcome, Big Ten, for Nebraska coming in and allowing you to have a Big Ten championship game. But I hate this week for the SEC. I do like that it means that Oregon USC is the biggest game of the week, which it probably would be anyway.
Missouri, Oklahoma, I guess. Not a lot of like playoff implication, I guess, unless Missouri pulls off an upset. So
yeah, zero playoff implication.
Wow.
Like, come on. Like, what are we doing?
You're anti-Tigers?
Yeah, the Tigers aren't getting in. What are we doing?
I mean, that's fair.
I mean, I would think it's
Eli Drinkowitz famously did say it's not about getting in the playoff.
I do think it's hilarious. I would think it's hilarious if Missouri knocks off Oklahoma, and then that would solve my 5 SEC team problem.
Yeah.
Which is a problem. But I really don't love. I mean, is that the only game that's that and Tennessee, Kentucky? Are those the only games?
I had it wrong. It's Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Florida. So technically, I mean, preseason, that Florida Tennessee game was supposed to be the game of the year. I mean, people would have loved that game, but DJ Lagway and Joey Aguilar gonna be going at it. Are they
really, really good? There's great stuff there.
Arkansas, Texas, notable rivalry.
Oh yeah, well it was, and Arkansas is terrible.
Yeah. Have you seen the Texas chats trying to argue that if Texas beats Arkansas and then beats Texas A&M, they deserve a playoff spot?
I have not.
Because their argument, and bear with me now, remember, this is Austin, alternate universe Texas fan. All right. Burnt orange Austin. All right. They're arguing that Texas right now, if they finish their season with a win over unbeaten Texas A&M and a win over Arkansas, that their 3 losses on the season would be against 2 of the top 5 teams in the country, one being in week 1 against the number 1 team in Ohio State, a game that they didn't have to play, but they chose to play. So they should be credited for taking on that game in the first place. And then their other loss is a bad loss to Florida that they'll say, hey, listen, we admit it, that was bad. What they won't tell you is the 2 overtime games that it took them to beat Kentucky and beat Mississippi State, which if you're a college football playoff team, those are probably not great looking wins, right? I mean, we're talking about resumes, all that other stuff. We're not just talking about like comparing and contrasting, right? So
what about that 27-10 game against UTEP? How'd that look?
That was early in the season. I mean, notable non-conference schedule. I mean, they're scheduling the toughest teams out there in Texas, Ravi. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do.
UTEP trying to help out the university system.
But yeah, so I don't think we are definitely not in a season this year that a 9-3 team is going to try to sneak their way into the playoff by any means. I don't either. But there's going to be too many quality 2-loss teams. And even in that same sense, I understand where the argument is coming from. And hey, we scheduled tougher than anyone. Well, then you should have won games that mattered more, right? Like you shouldn't have lost to Florida.
Yeah.
Because even if
they hadn't lost to Florida, they'd be in position to be in the college football playoff.
And then even if you have these overtime wins against maybe some lesser SEC teams, it doesn't matter. You still won the games, right? So if you have 2 losses and 2 of your losses are against the number 1 and number 4 teams, you're probably a playoff team. Yeah. I'll give you that.
Don't worry about it. But you lost to Florida too. And Florida's terrible.
Yeah.
Awful. They fired their coaches here famously.
But that's where they want to be. And they're sitting 17 right now in the college football playoff. I don't think anything that they do, even if they were to blow out Texas A&M, would push them that further, just because they wouldn't have an SEC championship game to play for to be able to say, hey, here's another, pedigree to be able to showcase ourselves. And they wouldn't be able to there's no other argument past beating A&M. And then A&M in that sense, what does A&M have to play for except for pride in that game?
Yeah.
I mean, they're essentially locked in.
Yeah, A&M's in.
If they beat Samford today or on Saturday, they're in.
1-10 Samford. Yes, if they beat Samford, they are in. just a reminder for anybody that forgot, Arch Manning against UTEP was 11 for 25.
Stop bringing up Arch. How dare you?
11 for 25 for 114 yards.
Where's your college football quarterback draft doing?
I'm in third, despite injuries. I'm doing really well. Thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate that.
Well, it's because I'm second. That's why. We are second, me and Rico.
Yeah, and you guys haven't had any injuries. So, who was in second until the injuries?
The best abilities, availability. I'm sorry that we picked guys that actually want to play. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, because Drew Holler didn't want to play anymore.
Didn't look like it. Why didn't he stay in?
Probably the injuries.
Yeah. And I know we'll get into all the Penn State stuff. I don't want to get, too into the weeds yet, but
we'll get to plenty of Penn State stuff. Don't you worry.
I'm so worried. I'm terrified.
You seem worried.
Why would I be worried?
I don't know.
Nothing to worry about.
I don't know.
Oh, look at this. Interesting. Yeah, there's Team Roston at 235. How fun. Man, you are in third, you're right, but third place is a long ways away.
I mean, you're a long way away from TK too.
So?
I'm just saying.
Sorry, touchdown merchant Fernando Mendoza. Just instead of the first and goal plunge at the goal line, they're like, hey, why don't we just pad some stats and get our first Heisman Trophy winner?
Absolutely. Got to.
You have to do what you have to do.
Got to do what you got to do.
I do think in that same SEC argument, though, this is one of my favorite weeks of the season because it's either Heisman stat padding week where your quarterback will play a half and throw for like 400 yards. If Diego Pavia was playing non-Kentucky, which he's probably still could, they're going to try to do everything he can to try to win the Heisman in this week. Or it's the SEC coach firing week where they do lose the FCS game. And they're like, oh, now is the reason we should get rid of you. But most of those SEC coaches are kind of done right now. I think we're kind of out of firing season, aren't we?
I don't know.
You just hang on and wait another week and then get it over with.
Mark Stoops over at Kentucky, I feel like is very much in danger or should be.
Yeah, but you wouldn't fire him out of this week. You're not going to have the interim for a week, right? You don't need the bump.
You might. It's not the bump. It's you get a week head start on the coaching search.
Yeah, I guess. They already lost out on James Franklin.
Listen, he might end up being the best hire in this whole class.
I think it's the best situation.
I think it's a good situation for him.
I think it's a win-win for both of them. I think they both know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I think so. He's going to make them competent and relevant. They'll probably never, maybe they'll sneak into a couple of college football playoffs. Like it's the ACC. That's totally on the table. They'll never win a national championship there, which is fine.
Yep. It's not like he was winning national championships at Penn State either. So
it's not like Penn State was winning national championships without him either.
Yeah.
So, Penn State was dramatically better with James Franklin than they were without him.
Yeah.
Like that's just the case. But I think it's a really good situation for Virginia Tech. I think the expectations are manageable and reasonable. They just want to be pretty good at football.
Yeah.
That's what Virginia Tech is. That's the job at Virginia Tech. Be pretty good at football.
And they don't have the rich history of tradition, but they definitely have
they have a pride.
Yeah, right? There's a part of it. There's the Enter Sandman of it. There's the Michael Vick of it. There's the Tyrod Taylor years. There's, they've had solid defenses, the Beamer Ball, all that stuff. They have these things in place where.
Wow, no respect for Marcus Vick, huh?
Did not cross my plate at all. I'll tell you that. But no, I mean, there's all those different things that you can point at and say, oh yeah, Virginia Tech, but you don't think of them as this notable football power. But when they're good, you don't necessarily are
it's not
shocked
weird
by it.
That they're good.
Yeah.
They're a team that you're like, oh, they should be pretty good.
Right. I'd say it's been more surprising the past few years that they haven't been as competitive as what they thought they would be.
I think they should be a perennial 8 to 10 win team. I think James Franklin 100% can get them there, especially if their financial commitment to football sticks around. I think it's a great hire. I think it's a perfect spot for both of them. Unless Lane Kiffin moves, that might end up being the best hire of the cycle.
Yeah.
James Franklin's a really good football coach. He certainly has the best resume. I mean, he's got a better resume than Kiffin does.
Yeah.
He's got the best resume of anybody that's going to get hired in this cycle.
If I said 2.5 years, over or under, that Virginia Tech wins the ACC and or makes a playoff.
How many years?
2.5.
Ooh, I'd probably say over, but not by a lot. I think we're talking year 3-4. They're going to be highly competitive in the ACC.
I don't know what next year would look like. I'd be interested because there's the rumors, and you talked with some of the Penn State guys earlier this week too about how there's all these rumors swirling about
a bunch of Penn State's roster might be at Virginia Tech next
not
year.
only roster, but some of their coaching staff, everybody. It's going to be Penn State South. They're just going to be moving down, hanging out. But if they do make that type of transition, how quickly can they rebuild? Yeah,
you're right. I mean, I'll be honest, Penn State's players in the ACC are pretty competitive right away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I do think Miami's going to be tough to get past unless Mario Cristobal hands you a couple games, which he certainly might.
Schedule that game in October and you'll be perfectly fine. I mean, seriously, Miami will be number 3. You can do it October 1st, and Franklin's like, yep, it's done. We got it all taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, year 2 is probably not great. 2.5 is probably the right number to put it at, because I was thinking 2 or 3. 1.5, I definitely take the over. 3.5, I would take the under. So yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like if he is able to get a bunch of guys from Penn State, I do think that's going to be a really good ACC team next year, because the ACC is not very good.
Yeah, and also the impact of a college football playoff committee, non-BCS, non-computer ranking, that it's human beings making the rankings. James Franklin probably gets a bump in that. If Virginia Tech's like 10-2 and on the fringe, and they're like, oh, well, what are we thinking? I think that they would lean towards putting in a Virginia Tech James Franklin team and say, oh, okay, well, maybe we can write off like some of these other things, depending on who they played in non-conference, whatever. They only have one scheduled game next year against a team that is currently, I think, in the top 10 or top 15, which would be Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I know we don't love schedule talk on this show, especially to 2026, but that's what Franklin has to look at, right? Because he can't do anything else right now.
No.
He can't coach the team currently.
I mean, he could technically.
Can he? Can you just walk out there and just be
He's
like, hey,
signed. He can coach if he wants to.
that's sick. He should.
It would be kind of, I wouldn't, because they're not going to make a bowl, are they?
I think they're,
are they going to
are
make a bowl?
3 wins?
I have no idea. I have no idea how Virginia Tech's season has gone after it started. Like, not even a little
Virginia
bit.
Tech is 2-4 in the conference, 3-7 overall.
Yeah, so not going to make a bowl game. If they were to make a bowl game, he could coach that. I mean, technically, he could coach them this week if he wanted to. I'm sure he doesn't.
That's so cool.
But yeah, because we've seen it before where like Barry Alvarez stepped in.
Oh, that's right.
And like coached the bowl game, or
yeah, but he was basically already their coach, so that's nothing surprising. They do play Miami tomorrow at 11 a.m. Who would have thought?
James Franklin
just knock off that first big win.
James Franklin should come down and just beat Mario Cristobal.
Would that get him fired? Would that get Cristobal would be right on the hot seat then, right?
That would be incredible.
Now here's the best plan for Franklin. Like, watch how that game goes. If Virginia Tech's like leading at halftime, step in right away. Hey, I'm the coach now. Run the ball, get out at half. We'll see what happens. Their last 2 games of the year are hosting Miami tomorrow and then at Virginia to wrap up the season.
Oh, so that would be hilarious if they both knocked out Virginia and Miami from the college football playoff.
And James Franklin gets 2 top 25 wins
right off the bat.
That's the ultimate bird.
Double birds to Penn State.
The triple bird would be that he invests money into the regional airport so that it becomes like an international airport so he can get recruits.
Oh, yeah. Josh mentioned Fickle coached the bowl game after he got hired.
Oh, yeah.
At Wisconsin.
Ooh,
So,
I forgot about that.
Dank said he lost all respect for PSU after they were so ungrateful to Franklin after he rescued them from one of the worst situations, which I agree with. I think Penn State was way out of line firing Franklin. I thought that was nuts. And I find it really difficult to believe they're going to find a better coach than James Franklin.
But it does appear that way, that they're maybe struggling to find that, because you would think at this point in the cycle, they would be linked to more names.
Yeah, and they're not.
Now, granted, Nebraska was a part of this when they were searching for Matt Rule, but where Nebraska was and where Penn State is currently and trying to find where they're looking for their next head coach are completely different, opposite sides of the spectrum.
Also, the names were out there. It was, Rule was prominently out there for the Nebraska job, and it was like a will he, won't he situation. Like, that wasn't a secret.
But if I ask you who's the hottest name right now in the college football coaching carousel?
It's Kiffin.
And Kiffin's not linked to Penn State
at all.
1 iota.
It's either LSU, Florida, or he stays at Ole Miss.
So if that's the case,
although we did say that about Lincoln Riley when it was like it's LSU or Oklahoma, and he ends up at USC, and we had no idea. So I don't think Lane's leaving the Southeast. He seems very comfortable in that part of the country. If you go hottest name besides that,
well, if DeBoer loses the Iron Bowl, anything's up.
Oh God, I would. Yeah, I would love it if Alabama fired DeBoer because he's a really good football coach. I want him to be anywhere besides Alabama.
I feel like Penn State is set in whatever they're going to do. There's something about how they're going about this that there hasn't been like a huge rumor mill. We heard more this week that there have been planes landing, and some coaches have kind of talked about it. But even like the biggest names past Kiffin, right? Like Summerall, I don't think Summerall's really been linked to it at all either, which has been very interesting. I would figure he'd be one of the top group of 5 guys that you'd want to go after.
Yeah, but I think he's got the SEC, vibe.
Right.
I think the only guy that I've heard recently tied to Penn State at all is Brent Key at Georgia Tech. And that'd be a good hire. I think culturally, good fit in terms of how they want to play football. I don't know about him as a person culturally, but in terms of the style of football Georgia Tech plays, I think that would play very well to Penn State's fan base. I don't know if that would play well to their administration. It seems like, hiring guys like Andy Kotelnicki, maybe they wanted a little bit more than that. Yeah. But stylistically, Penn State fans, I think, desire a similar style of football that Nebraska fans do. They kind of want that like smash mouth, like physical, beat people's heads in. And that's a great hire there. The only guy that, and I haven't heard this name, the only guy that I wonder if would be a good fit there is Matt Campbell.
Ooh, yeah.
Matt Campbell seems
that's more of the media guy. Like that's more of I've seen more like national people being like Matt Campbell should be linked to this job, but then
I haven't heard anything like in actual rumors or anything like that. That's the only guy where location, kind of style, culture, and pedigree and like ability,
right,
seems like it would be a good hire for Penn State.
And you've said it before too. I mean, Iowa State and Penn State. In all their capacity, Penn State's the bigger brand. They've got more money. They've got the larger support base and everything else. But Ames and Happy Valley are not like incredibly different.
Yeah. I think they're very different programs. I don't think they're very different locations.
Yes,
in terms of what they're like. I do wonder. I just do wonder what the Penn State coaching search is like. I think it either is one of two very different things. Either this is one of the best, most buttoned-up coaching searches we've ever seen in our lives, and the day the season is over, they're going to announce a great head coaching hire and be like, this has been our guy. We've got this wrapped up. It's done and over with. Or this is an enormous cluster,
right?
The likes of which we have not seen probably since Nebraska was trying to replace Frank Solich. And you're waiting with Houston Nutt leaving you on the tarmac and whatever else. It cannot be anywhere in the middle.
But I think we'll know if it's, I mean, you can name however many days you want it to be after the season ends, right?
Yeah.
That you'll know which it is.
Absolutely.
Is if it's, I wanted to say a week. I think the week's too long. Like if it's 5, if we get to
conference championship game, but without Penn State naming a head coach, we know it's the second option.
Right.
That it is a cluster.
Yeah. Can I also make an argument?
Yeah.
That this was the worst year time frame for Penn State to decide to make this decision
because of other jobs that are open.
If they would have done it a year ago, they were in a better position, and if they did it next year, they might have been in a better position. Because I think that they probably would have really wanted Mike Elko.
Sure,
but can't get Elko now.
Yeah, no, not even a little.
And again, like if they had waited a year before and they were like, "Hey, look at what like Matt Rule's doing," and they really wanted Matt Rule. Maybe there was more of a chance to do it last year because obviously there was not an extension and everything that was going on with Rule at that time. Probably easier to be able to make that side of the argument if you thought Rule was your guy.
Sure.
And you look at maybe next year and the other coaches that may or may not be available, that you've kind of put yourself into a bad spot because of you couldn't have predicted that Kelly was going to get fired at LSU and that all the other cascading jobs are going to open up.
I mean, you probably could have predicted like Napier. You probably like there's some of them you could have predicted. LSU. I don't even think LSU was a huge stretch, and I think that's why they tried to get in front of it, but I don't think they've done anything with that time.
But I think that's the toughest part for Penn State is that maybe they have to swallow their pride a little bit, same as Nebraska's had to do in their past coaching hires too, and just be like, we're not the top brand right now available. We're not the biggest name available, and that has to be a little bit like people aren't calling us to be like, hey, would you like me for the job? You have to go out and call every single person to be able to get that person interested in your job.
That's why I have remained convinced this entire time that they're not going to be able to find a better coach than James Franklin. James Franklin was incredibly successful there. Also, if you are a sitting successful power conference coach, why are you going to a place that fired a guy that was in the national semifinal last year? You fired him for basically 2 losses. Nobody cared about, I get they cared about the Oregon loss, but that wasn't the thing that got him fired. He got fired for UCLA and Northwestern. He got fired for a bad 3 weeks, basically. If you're a sitting, look at Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss right now. Last year, do you remember what the expectations were for Ole Miss last year?
It was all national championship.
Yeah, like national championship, playoff or bust. Like they lost 3 games. They weren't even really in the conversation, but they lost games they shouldn't have lost.
DJ Lagway?
Yeah, they lost a terrible game to a mediocre Florida team. Like Lane Kiffin, there was not a whisper of hot seat for Ole Miss, despite wildly missing their expectations for the season. And not only that, they re-upped all the money they were spending on new guys from last year to this year.
Yep.
So they went in and doubled down on the support for Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. If Brian Kelly wasn't such an a-hole, he'd still be the coach at LSU.
More than likely. Yeah.
Like, he got fired because he both didn't win at the level they expected and he's unlikable. Both of those things factored into that. Penn State was a couple minutes away from playing for a national championship last year. Like, that game against Notre Dame was a really, really close game that they very easily could have won.
People forget that they were going down the field to take the lead.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Like, that's how close they were to playing for a national championship last year. And he got fired for 3 bad weeks. If I'm a head coach, I said this when he got fired. If I'm a head coach, I sit there and I go, why do I want to sign up for that? That's why James Franklin at Virginia Tech makes a ton of sense. If Virginia Tech makes a college football playoff, I don't know, twice a decade, they'll be thrilled to death.
Yeah.
If they win 8 or more wins every other year besides that, pretty much every year, and they make 2 college football playoffs a decade, like, they'll build you a statue.
Their best seasons over the past 2 decades, and again, this is 2005 on, is Orange Bowl appearances with the Tyrod Taylor teams.
Yeah. That they played for 1 national championship when they had Michael Vick in 99. And then they were sort of in contention for a few years around there.
But they were always like a 1 or 2 loss team.
Yeah.
In that era of college football.
A lot of Orange Bowls, a lot of 10-2s, a lot of Orange Bowls, and everybody was thrilled to death.
Yeah.
No, like, I never heard a peep in Blacksburg about, I don't know about this.
And it took the bottom completely falling out for multiple years in a row to get to that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they're very much, honestly, expectation-wise, in a very similar spot to Nebraska right now. If, like, once a recruiting cycle, Nebraska made a college football playoff, and the rest of the time they're winning between 8 and 10 games, I think Nebraska fans would be thrilled to death, at least for a while.
Yeah.
I'd probably be thrilled to death forever. I'll be honest. Like, if I knew, like, once every 4 or 5 years Nebraska's making a college football playoff, they're highly competitive the rest of the time, I'd sign up for that tomorrow.
Right.
No questions asked.
But part of that, too, and Virginia Tech, and I think Nebraska fans hopefully would agree on this, too, is you just want to be in the conversation.
Absolutely.
Right?
Mattering matters.
Yeah, that's a great way to phrase it.
Really?
Right. It does. It does, because you don't want to be the team that's always left out. And that's where Nebraska and Virginia Tech have been for so many years.
It's not even left out. It's not even thought about.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right? If you're being left out, at least you're sort of tangentially in the conversation. You're not even thought about right now.
Yeah.
That's why it matters. Like, that's why earlier in the year, and, you know, they go out and lose to Michigan right after that. But that's earlier in the year, I was complaining about, like, hey, this is a team that probably should be ranked at this point.
Yeah.
Right. Or that's why I complain about, you know, point spreads and things like that when they seem off to me, because this is a team at Nebraska that's trying to change the narrative about what this program is. And in order to change the narrative, yes, you have to do it on the field, but you also have to have, like, people have to advocate. That's why one of the reasons I appreciate Coach Rule so much, you have to advocate for the program itself too. This isn't like, there is a sales job involved as well. That's why you see all these coaches going out and you see all the conference commercials, like, look at all of our conference championships and look at all these national championships. That's why those commercials exist. You're advocating for your programs.
Yep.
Nebraska hasn't had somebody to advocate for it for a very long time. Scott Frost certainly wasn't going to do it. Mike Riley, everybody's like, oh, it's okay, Grandpa, just go back to the corner. Bo Pelini wasn't advocating for anybody but Bo Pelini and the guys in that room.
Yep.
Right. I won't ever say a bad thing about how he treated the guys in that room.
Well, and he notably would say, like, F the media, like, hey, I'm not about parades. I'm not about any of that other stuff. I'm just here to be a football coach.
Yeah, he's like, he was a guy that probably should have been a head coach in, like, the 70s or at high school, and that's about it.
Yep.
Like, that's what his mindset of how to coach ball. Like, he was a man out of place in time with what college football had become. And I won't say a bad thing about how he treated the guys in the locker room, because I've never heard anybody who played for that man that didn't love him. So whatever he was in the locker room and outside the locker room were very different things. But the fact of the matter is, he was not out there advocating for Nebraska outside of maybe the BCS. That's why they make, you know, whatever. Right. But that really just felt more like the Rage Machine than it did advocating for Nebraska. So, like, that's why it matters to have a guy that will advocate for your program. That's why it matters to have because you have to matter at some point.
Yeah.
If you don't matter when the season starts, Emmett Johnson is running into this problem right now. If Emmett Johnson had any sort of buzz coming out of last season outside of the state of Nebraska, his candidacy for awards would be much stronger.
Yep.
But he didn't matter before the season, so it's harder to matter now. The same thing is true for football teams. Let's just look at.
Well, I was even thinking it in the same sense too, and I know you mentioned a little bit about preseason polls and such, but not trading exactly how Nebraska's season has went with USC's and not trying to flip that game. Of all the games stay the same, and Nebraska has a preseason ranking in front of their record before the season starts, Nebraska's ranked right now. Would they not be? I mean,
Absolutely.
The Minnesota loss is still horrible, right? But there are teams that are in the top 25s that definitely have horrible losses on their resumes and still are credited with everything else. And Nebraska's lost to 2 top 25 teams, 2 of them at home, of course. But you look at where they sit right now, and yet, again, we're going back to the same. They're huge underdogs on the road against a team that only has 4 wins. And they're a team that is still receiving some recognition from the coaches poll and has been for most of the season. But because of preseason narrative or because of where the program has been or how people have perceived it over the course of a decade, it continues to hurt the program moving forward. Until it overcomes that, it won't get that expectation. And so you're right, like Emmett Johnson, a lot of other guys like Dylan is going to have that same thing that's been going against him for future seasons, all that stuff, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's why I was so mad about the offseason about the quarterback stuff, right? Is
he was the 40th ranked quarterback coming in. He was not playing as the 40th ranked quarterback.
You're crowning DJ Lagway and Arch Manning and whoever else, guys that haven't proven anything, haven't done anything, that Dylan, I think, outplayed last year and certainly outplayed this year. I mean, there's no question he outplayed the guys like DJ Lagway and Lenore Sellers this year. And I would argue, despite the fact that Arch Manning's numbers have recovered a little bit, you ask any Texas fan about how Arch Manning's playing, they are not happy.
Right.
He's not playing. They have turned him into a check down merchant, and that's fine, but he's not playing well. But look at Texas is a great example, right? Texas started, people thought they were top 5 in the country, I think, preseason.
I think there were 2. Wasn't it 1 versus 2?
I thought it was Ohio State, Penn State was. They might have been 3. They might have been 2. I don't remember.
Yeah.
They're very highly ranked, top 5 in the country, right? Until last week, their last loss, which dropped them to 17 and made them a 7-3 team, they were number 10, even with that horrible loss to Florida.
Yeah.
Florida's a worse loss than Minnesota. Minnesota's bowl eligible.
I mean, arguably, Florida is one of the worst losses you can take in their conference.
It is. So they were still ranked 10th in the country with that dog crap loss on their resume. Nebraska, had they beat USC, certainly wouldn't have been ranked 10th.
Yep.
That's kind of my point here, right?
Yep.
Like, they'd have a ranked win. One of their losses would be bad to Minnesota, although a bowl eligible team, and their other loss would be to a ranked, pretty good Michigan team. That would be their resume, and there's no way in hell they'd be the 10th ranked team in the country.
Yep.
So that's why this conversation about mattering matters, right? You have to be part of the conversation in order to be part of the real thing. That's why I get mad about the preseason rankings and the way people talk about other schools versus Nebraska and the hypocrisy of elevating. DJ Lagway wasn't just like, oh, we think he might be good this year. He was preseason Heisman favorite, either him or Arch. He was at the very top or in the top handful of everybody's preseason quarterback rankings. Like, the talk about this guy was absolutely crazy considering the disparity between what he was considered and what Dylan was considered.
Yeah.
That's just a narrative problem. That's not a football problem, because as we saw, Dylan was better than DJ Lagway.
And maybe it's the same thing, but for question's sake, is it a narrative or is it a marketing problem?
I mean, so
both are the same, right? They're both a part of the same Venn diagram of the conversation. But I think in all of the consternation that everyone has made fun of for Matt Rule doing podcasts and how often he's doing media appearances, he understands that to change one circle, you have to put a lot of effort into another.
Absolutely.
And they overlap in that direction.
People don't like the word marketing when it comes to running a program, right? Yeah. But there's a reason. Like, where do you think Oregon came from? Oregon is a marketing machine.
Yep.
And listen, they also got really good at football.
They hooked my entire generation by wearing different uniforms every Saturday.
Yes, but that's it. Like, you have to seem cool. The SEC has made itself seem cool for a long time.
Yep.
The Big Ten hasn't. The Big Ten has always been sort of the stuffy, boring, whatever conference. Now, Ohio State broke past that because they're Ohio State. They play an incredible style of football, and they're really, really good, right? But I would argue the closest team pre-Oregon joining the conference to break through that narrative has been, I guess it's not pre, it's at the same time, but outside of Oregon, USC, these kind of big time, like sexy helmet joining the conference, the closest team to break through that narrative of not being boring and stuffy You know who I'm going to say?
Indiana.
It's Indiana.
It's 100% Indiana.
Because Curt Cignetti, whether he means to or not, is a marketing genius.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's on purpose or not. That might just be who he is.
The very first thing he did is he went to an Indiana basketball game and he said, we're going to beat the hell out of Ohio State and Penn State. He went after the top targets because he knew that it would draw headlines and ire. And
then the first thing that he says when he's in front of a national media is, hey, Google me.
Yeah.
I win.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I hate the guy, that's a hard line.
Right.
Like, that goes hard.
And also, and it's like you said, he knows how to clickbait people. Like, he's doing it himself. He knows that it's going to generate clicks, and it doesn't bother him that it does.
Whether he's doing it on purpose or not, he has done a master class.
Yeah.
Because
now it was a two-way, because then he won on top of it.
Absolutely.
Because that was the other part of it.
You have to also win. And I think that's the part that makes Nebraska fans uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Does the marketing part take away from the winning? It clearly, I don't think does.
Mm-hmm.
But it is important if you don't have that built in. It's been a long, long time since Nebraska has mattered nationally. Mm-hmm. Even when you have that 7-0 start under Riley, everybody kind of knew that was fraudulent. It was like, oh, this is nice, but didn't feel real. And no one really looked at Nebraska as a national title contender. Even under Bo in their best seasons, they usually would take a loss or two early and they'd be out of national title contention. Right. And then by the end of the year, they're like, oh, Nebraska's playing as well as anybody.
Well, it would be that first top 25 Big Ten primetime game that they would lose by 40. And then they were out of it, but they were like 17th. And then they'd play an 11 a.m. game against Michigan State and they'd win. And then they would be 9th and then they would lose again. And then they were down. It was done. The season was over.
Like I don't recall there being a season where Nebraska, I think they got to like 5 one year.
7 under Riley is the highest I remember.
I think there was one under Bo. They got to either 5 or 7. I can't remember. I think it was one of the early Taylor Martinez years
when they played Texas. Was that what you're thinking of?
Maybe.
That was when Texas, I think, was unranked and they came in and won that game.
I think it was 20. That might have
2010.
That'd have been 2010. I don't remember. There was a year where I believe Bo Pelini had them around mid-season in single digits. And that was probably the last time you could have a serious conversation about Nebraska being a national title contender. But we're talking 15 years ago. The kids that Nebraska's recruiting right now were literal toddlers.
Yes.
Like they were in diapers still.
They probably don't know who Jared Crick is.
They certainly don't. The pride of
the head coach. No, Kozad.
Kozad. I knew it was
He's
a C.
The head coach of the Haymakers, man.
I knew it was a C town.
Crofton?
Maybe.
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 We don't have drops. Drops for 3 days without drops are tough.
But that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah.
Is the marketing matters, your presence on a national stage matters, and it's been a really long time since Nebraska's play has spoken for itself.
Yeah.
So you have to do some of these other things to try and accelerate the process.
Yeah.
Right? The winning has to happen too. That's a given. If it doesn't happen, none of this matters. I get that. But if you do win and you don't do this other stuff, you're setting yourself up for failure long term. You're making it harder to sustain the thing you've built. And that's the part that I think people are missing a little bit.
So if Nebraska wins its next 2 games, likely top 25-ish, like borderline, if not like peeking in. And then after that, you win your bowl game, you end your season on a 4-game winning streak. And then you go in to the offseason, probably a top 25 rating. Those are steps in the right direction.
Well, you know what that would mean? If they win tomorrow, Iowa, and their bowl game, that's a 10-win season.
Whoa.
That's 10-3. That's a 10-win season.
No one here on this panel had ever said 10-win season.
I'm not going to count myself because I said 10-2.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give myself credit for that if it happens. But the point is, A, been a very long time since Nebraska's been in that conversation. And B, that's exactly the type of team like you're talking about. That's exactly the type of team that people in the offseason look at me like, oh, Nebraska finished pretty strong.
Yeah.
And, they were the youngest team in the Big Ten last year. And regardless of what happens at quarterback, they've got a guy with experience that we liked how he played. Because if they go 3-0 on the way out here, TJ has to play well, right?
Yeah, right.
So whether TJ's back, whether Dylan's back, whether they're both back, you go, oh, man, we kind of like the quarterback position. And, they still have a lot of these young skill position players. Maybe they get EJ to convince him to come back. They go, oh, kind of like what's happening there. That defensive line really came on at the end of last year. And, they got these guys in the transfer portal. Look at all the money Nebraska's spending. All of a sudden, that's the team people are talking about in the offseason.
Yeah, and then it doesn't become a team that you have to buy yourself into believing because then it's a team that's proven it's worth, and you can say, hey, I can actually put stock in that and not feel like I'm wasting money.
And here's where it matters, and we'll take a break here so we can get to Tim VERGHESE. But it also requires a little bit of stamp of approval from people outside the state.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it matters. So you get the 10-3. Let's say all those things happen, right? This is hypothetical. You get the 10-3, all those things happen, and then you see Matt Rule on Pat McAfee, and you're like, oh man, Nebraska had a really good year. And then you see him on the podcast, and you're like, oh, this guy's actually pretty interesting, and I like listening to him. I like his philosophy on certain things. And then you see him do Jim Rome. He's done Jim Rome a few times, right, or whatever. And you're like, oh man, like that's like he can joke around. He seems like a cool guy, whatever. And then you have that with the validating of what actually happened on the football field. And then you have the validating of what's happening in terms of how your head coach is presenting the program. And then you have the little bit of a stamp of approval from people outside the program. That's a preseason ranking. That's let's say Dylan is early Heisman, or EJ is early Heisman talk next year, right? Like then you start to get, all right, I've seen this guy around. I saw them win. And now the national media and everybody else is saying, oh, this team might be pretty good. Mm-hmm. That's when you start to get the momentum of, oh, this isn't just Ravi banging on a table on Hurrdat Sports Live that Nebraska is better than we think they are, and being an 8.5, 9.5, 10.5 point favorite against a 4-6 Penn State team is absolute dog manure. Like it's not just me at that point, because it's not just some guy from Omaha that rides for the program. It is, people who are objective and have no emotional attachment, who are wrong at the exact same rate I am, by the way, but because they don't have the emotional attachment, you can't hit them with the homer label.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You can't take away, you can't undercut it with, well, he just wants them to be good, or, he just likes Rule, or whatever. Right. Mm-hmm. Or, his co-host played for Nebraska. Not you.
What? That's news.
The other guy.
I was the UNK intramural champ one year.
Listen, intramurals is fun as hell. I loved intramurals. It was a good
time. Yeah.
I was the only player on the actual basketball team that was allowed to play intramurals because I had never played my freshman year.
That's very good. That's a good stat to have. Yeah.
It was super fun.
How many titles did you win?
Oh, we won in intramurals. I was only allowed to play the first year.
Oh.
I did. I will say I got buckets in intramurals.
That's the way to go.
I was not shy about my shot selection. Let's just put it that way. But no, like it's not just, hey, some guy and his co-host that played for Nebraska and this dude that's, got pictures of football players with him when he's 7 years old and whatever. Right. It is, hey, these people who do this for a living have signed off on, this program's heading in the right direction. Mm-hmm. That's where it starts to matter. Let's take a quick break here. We're going to talk to Tim VERGHESE from inside Nebraska. Maybe, I don't know, ask him anything interesting happened in recruiting this week, Austin?
I can't think off the top of my head.
We'll see if we can figure something out.
We'll have to Google some stuff. Yeah.
we will have
Nebraska recruiting. I actually wonder what is the first thing that comes up when I Google that.
I have an idea. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. We will be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live right after this.
Saturday night especially, I thought we had our legs. Again, I thought we looked a little tentative on Friday and just weren't skating up to the tempo and pace that we need to do against a team like that. And I thought Saturday, just right from the drop of the puck, we took the initiative necessary to be successful in those types of series against that type of opponent there. So, I just liked our pace better, liked our initiative better a little bit. I think, like you mentioned, we got lots of new guys that are getting used to the speed of the game, and I think when you watch too much against good teams there, it's tough to contain them, and you end up being in your own end a lot. So I liked our initiative there to, be a little bit more aggressive in our style of play, and I thought it was positive for us.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centrist Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. from your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Yeah, and this is a little different because it's a 2 bye-week year. I think next year goes back to 1. So the early bye week was really about the whole team. But even right now, as I'm here, there's developmental practice going on. We do it every Thursday. It's actually, I had done it differently. It's actually something Coach Holgerson brought. Like, hey, this is how I like to do this on Thursdays, and it's been fantastic. Like, they put their pads on, and they're out there, and they're getting not just team reps, individual reps, routes on air, and then team reps. And so, we believe in that wholeheartedly. When you look at like the explosion that Emmett's made from, kind of sharing time to you think about like last year's bowl game. The tailback was the bowl game MVP, but it wasn't him. And it was Ramir, which we love, and Emmett loved. So now where he's like this featured back, and I walk in, I have a Emmett for Heisman shirt on my desk. It's pretty cool. But that's not a function of something that happened this year. That's a function of just 3 years worth of his work and development, but also kind of the process. So when I look at some of our young players, I see what they're going to be in 2 or 3 or 4 years.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That is Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat headquarters. We will be joined shortly by our guy, Tim VERGHESE. Also coming up on the show, we're going to talk to our good friend, DB. Oh, DB at 9. He's going to join us. He's working his way
from the plane.
I don't know if he'll be on the plane yet. I don't know where his situation will be, but he will be working on getting his way to State College, Pennsylvania.
We should ask how many Husker Radio Network members have had to help him set up his internet for the plane ride.
I'm curious how many people he's going to need to help him actually come on to the show today.
Do you think that the amount of technological issues that he's the first person to get on the plane, so that way everyone else can help him on his way?
So I don't know.
Is it easier to have him be like the last person of the broadcast team on, so that way everyone else is already on the plane to help him with that?
I don't know about the order once they board the plane. I do know he's on the first plane that boards because they call that the non-essential group. So anybody that is not, I think DB is essential. But in terms of people that are not required to actually play in the football game, they all are on one plane, and then you've got everybody else kind of goes after that. They're more the athletic department's more okay wasting the time of the non-essentials. It's basically the
it probably just mean you get to ride with all the cool people that like get the snacks and all that other stuff though. I mean, you get all those supplementary people. That's actually the best crew of people to be around too.
Absolutely. One of the best crew for us to be around is our guy Tim VERGHESE from inside Nebraska, who I believe is joining us now in the stream. Tim, what's going on, buddy?
Tim, how are you?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Good, Tim.
I think we're doing good.
Yeah, Tim, how's your week been? Has it been busy? Have you done anything?
Yeah, did anything happen this week?
So I did Google. I was joking about it before we went to break that I would Google Nebraska recruiting to see if there was anything that happened. And you'd be shocked to find out the first thing that I found out when I Googled. It had something to do with Dayton Raiola, which I had no clue about. Have you heard of this story? It's something, isn't it? Yeah.
Tim, let me just ask you, like, what have you, all right, I'm gonna ask like 3 questions in one question, and then I'm just gonna let you cook, okay? So A, did you know this was something that was coming? B, what have you been able to find out about the decommitment in terms of how the Raiolas came to this point in the process? And C, do you think Nebraska knew this was coming?
So, A, did I see this coming? No, but thankfully we have a great team here at Rivals, and a few people here did know this was coming, including our Greg Smith, and had an idea things were trending in a direction, previously unseen. Did Nebraska see this coming? Yes, they had a sense this is where things were trending. And as far as how we got here, something changed between Friday night and, let's say, Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, in terms of how both sides felt about this partnership, specifically the Dayton Raiola Nebraska partnership, and just where the viability of it, just in terms of I had gotten a sense there was an understanding across the board of what this was, what Dayton Raiola was coming here to do, and kind of an understanding that, hey, the path to playing time is likely very slim, if at all. I kind of figured that was the understanding, and from what I had been told and heard, it was the understanding, but it kind of feels like now we're up against signing day, and it kind of felt like reality hit a little bit, just in terms of what this would look like. I think part of this factors in is the play of TJ behind the scenes and in practice, and kind of what he stepped up and been. I think Trey Taylor, the ascension he's made as a junior, kind of stamping himself as one of these top 27 quarterbacks nationally. Like I think all of that played a factor into it. But yeah, now we're at a point where we're 2 weeks out from signing day, or less than 2 weeks out now, and Nebraska is without a 26 quarterback. Not necessarily a need they had to address, but this staff, just in general, at the Power 4 level, you like to have a guy every cycle. You never know what can happen. You never know what can, you just never know. I think it's important to take a shot and get a guy in every single cycle. I do think Nebraska is going to find a way to address that, whether it's a late high school edition or more likely a portal edition. But that's where we're at now.
Tim, when it comes to the decommitment, and from your understanding of it, I know you got a little bit into that about maybe some of the reasonings why, but do you get a sense that there is any part of that conversation between Dayton and Nebraska where some of that maybe started or had some internal conversation from Nebraska's side that started that process of saying, hey, maybe there's a better opportunity for you elsewhere? Or do you think this was truly a Dayton Raiola decision 100% on his side?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been this back and forth of hey, and I think part of this is, again, just where everyone thought everyone was in terms of the understanding of the situation. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there was some discussion back and forth, but ultimately in terms of what triggered this, yeah, this is more so on Dayton Raiola's side of trying to find an opportunity to play football. And, I think part of this too is I think who he, I think very much you can very much say part of this is he's played how he has as a senior, kind of, and is wants to give this a go, wants to give this a real go of playing at the next level, and a realistic go of playing at the next level. And I don't really know how many opportunities there will be for that at the Power 4 level for him, to be quite honest. But he has an opportunity now over these next week and a half or so to explore those opportunities and see what's out there for him.
Tim, do you think there is any correlation to this Dayton Raiola decision and anything that may or may not happen with Dylan Raiola in the offseason?
I mean, sure. I mean, I think one is absolutely related. I mean, these two guys. I mean, they're brothers. The family is so important to the Raiola. Like, it does absolutely, but I don't think one automatically implicates the other. I don't think Dayton not being a Nebraska commit and not signing with Nebraska on December 3rd automatically means Dylan Raiola is headed to the portal or anything like that. At the same time, this is a situation that needs some massaging over, and this is going to be one of those things that is just going to be this kind of push-pull where it's going to be just kind of a storyline to essentially monitor until the portal officially opens, which it won't happen until Jan 2nd. So, yeah, if anyone's like sick of this or sick of the speculation or sick of whatever, yeah, it's going to be speculated on until December 2nd at this point.
So you mentioned the impact that TJ Lateef and his play have had on, you think they had on the Dayton decision. Do you think any of the way TJ Lateef has played is going to have any impact on the Dylan decision?
No.
Okay.
Tim, off question, but I promise it'll get us there. Do you have siblings?
I do.
Okay.
Siblings.
So are you the oldest?
Yes.
So if you were to give any advice as an older sibling who's, lived a little bit longer life or anything, do you think your younger siblings may take some advice?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think absolutely. Like, yeah, I mean, just off lived experience.
So why I don't understand how that hasn't been brought up more. How that can't be a part of this conversation too. That Dylan can't be also, part of the quarterback conversation and the starting quarterback at Nebraska, but also be an older brother and just say, maybe this is not, it's the best place for me, but maybe it's not the best place for you. I don't understand how that narrative hasn't really spun out yet from Nebraska fans who are just assuming it's one and the same, that Dayton and Dylan would both leave because one didn't like Nebraska.
Right. And again, I don't think it's anything of I think the feeling, I think honestly, if you ask Dayton Raiola, he still likes Nebraska. He's still I think part of this is just truly the calculus in terms of the playing football, I think part of this was the initially hey, there's a very limited chance you see the field, or there's a limited chance that Dayton Raiola sees the field at Nebraska. At least that was the perception, for very long. It's based on just, again, where things stand, where he's at as a prospect. He's a guy that I almost at the Power 4 level, it was going to take a couple of years of development before he was ready to see the field. It was going to need a couple more years of polishing and putting certain things together before he was ready. And you look at just a crowded room at Nebraska, it was just going to be tough for that. And so I think part of this is, okay, hey, go find somewhere where maybe there is an easier path to playing time, and maybe there is a better opportunity to develop. You're not splitting reps with 4 or 5 other guys. You're splitting reps with 2, 3 other guys, and you're on the 2 deep where you have a chance to really split reps with the 1 and 2s on the roster.
So, Tim, I'm glad you brought up kind of the type or level of prospect that Dayton is, because I do think that matters in this situation. With him reopening his recruitment, what type of program do you expect him to land at?
Yeah, again, I think I'm looking primarily, I think outside of the SEC and the Big Ten, I think there are a few Big 12 programs, ACC programs still in search of a QB commit, still in search of a 26 QB that would potentially make some sense. In terms of, again, just pure, really depends on what he's looking for. Because if he's looking for a true playing time, I think he could find that at the G5 level, an opportunity to compete for a starting job early on in his career. Could potentially find that at the lower G5 level too. So yeah, I think there's opportunity out there. It's just, again, we're a week and a half away from signing day. He's deep in a playoff run. How much time is he going to have to make visits? That's kind of part of this, and how much time is he going to have to explore options. So, is it going to be a December 3rd decision, or at this point, it's going to be a later decision? That's what I'm curious to see, and curious to see kind of how he handles this thing kind of moving forward.
Do you have any more Dayton questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay, good. I'm good there too. Tim, I want to ask you just about the national conversation when it comes to how Nebraska is preparing for these next couple of weeks, gearing up, because the 2026 conversation, I felt like in the summer, Nebraska's fan base had a good hold on it because it was articulated well that, hey, we're going to take a smaller class. It's not going to be the prettiest number, the sexiest number. But when guys start to remove themselves from that class and it does dwindle down even further, what does Nebraska need to do in these next 2 weeks to maybe not necessarily ease the fan base, because that's not their goal? They're just trying to make sure that they're filling the roster as they see fit. But what are those holes that they still need to maybe attack or address?
Yeah, I think So I've said this a couple places this week. However you feel about how crazy these next 2 weeks can get, it can get crazier. There's a lot that is moving just across the college football space right now, and about next weekend is when I think things are really going to start to move once some regular seasons wrap up. And I think, I mean, we're already going to start to see some trickle down of like, hey, this is where this head coach is heading, and this is how this job's going to get filled, and there's going to be some movement as a result of all of that. So what does that mean necessarily for like Nebraska? It's okay. They need to stay proactive, and I do think they are. They're doing a good job of that. They need to and will stay proactive in addressing some of these needs, because not every high school prospect is built the same, but they're looking for instant impact in the front seven. Ideally, defensive line, linebacker. You're looking for just kind of an instant impact contributor. You're looking even at safety. You're looking for a big safety this cycle. Can you find that here late over these next week and a half with an opening elsewhere? Lane Kiffin does make a decision on where he's going. Does that open up or change the recruitment elsewhere? What happens with this Texas noise? How real is it? Sark has publicly shut it down, but we know how much words necessarily mean compared to action. So tracking what happens obviously in Florida, tracking what happens at a couple other places, because I think there are a few programs that still have some decisions to make. I think that Arkansas job, whoever takes that, will have some implications elsewhere. So I think there's just a general, there's going to have to be it's going to be a race. I mean, you look at what Nebraska's doing. I mean, the names to know right now are primarily in the JUCO ranks, and then there's some high school guys to watch. They're looking for a third receiver. That's primarily Quade Hendricks right now, the UConn commit that they're set to get on an official visit for the Iowa game. That's a 5'11", 175-pound pass catcher that can play in the slot, play outside. Nebraska's looking for more slot depth. He fits that. That's a name I'm keeping an eye on. Has a chance to be a member of this class come December 3rd. Mekhi Metelu, offensive lineman out of Mount Sac Junior College. That's a guy they're looking for after the decommitment. I mean, they were on him before Leon Noyle decommitted, but, Nebraska had a sense where the Noyle thing was going. Quickly jumped on Metelu, a kind of versatile interior line prospect who is somewhat plug and play. He's older. He went on a mission. He's up to 280 pounds. Would need a little time to maybe add a little more weight to that frame, but is someone that can compete in the two deep on the offensive line. Defensive line, they're after Dylan Berriman, four-star defensive lineman out of LSU. That's what I think that's LSU's to lose right now. He's at LSU last weekend, tentatively expected back at LSU this weekend, and Nebraska's expecting him on November 28th. We'll see if that visit happens. I could see LSU potentially shutting things down with him this weekend, but that's a guy they'd love to have. He's 330 pounds. Right around 6'2", coming out of the high school level, and he's an instant impact kind of guy. Like, that's a guy that's walking into, if he does come into Nebraska, would be walking into the defensive line room and he's taking up snaps from someone else. That's a guy Nebraska would like to land. And then there's a few others at edge and kind of linebacker. They're after Taylor Schaefer, junior college prospect out of Iowa Central. At DB, they're after Asad Chapman, junior college prospect out of the West Coast. But he's set to visit. He was at Oregon last weekend, tentatively expected to Oregon this weekend. Nebraska's battling with Mississippi State to get him in town November 28th. Mississippi State wants him in town for the Egg Bowl. Nebraska wants him in town for Iowa, Nebraska. And then the other name just is a non-JUCO, non-high school ranks name to know is Carrington Pierce, Oklahoma State transfer defensive back. He's racing to make a decision. He's in the portal early because he entered after Gundy got fired. He's trying to make a decision. I get the sense he's trying to make a decision before the floodgates open and the portal actually opens up. And so those are the names to watch as of now. We could have a few more names on that list like this time next week. And we could just see some movement this time next week. Again, like what happens at 26 QB? Do they extend some new offers? Do they, kind of circle back on anybody? That's a question I have moving forward. Do they really look at any other offensive linemen? Do they extend any new defensive line offers? That's what I'm looking at. And then safety, like I mentioned, they're after a big-time safety if they can find one. I don't know at this point if they will, but that's a name. That's a prospect I'm really looking to see if they're going to address before signing day.
Tim, a couple questions for you here. One, how much impact do you think the decommitment of Noyle has?
It's tough. I mean, again, I just because that was a guy they felt was, a guy they could potentially compete for a spot in the 2 deep along the interior early on, and a guy they felt really strongly about long term, like his developmental upside. He's a guy with a pretty high floor, but a pretty high ceiling as well. Like really athletic lower body, has that kind of swing ability to play tackle or guard. Even though he's on the like he's 6'4", he has the length frame wise to potentially play tackle and the athleticism to potentially play tackle and would have given Nebraska kind of this high. And I mean, think about how they talk about Preston Tamua.
Mhm.
It felt like that, a lot of like very similar prospect just in terms of the versatility, the high floor, the ability to kind of come in and just be like a steady guy that's going to compete for snaps and be someone the staff can rely on down the line. It's tough. I mean, that said, they feel pretty good about Rex Waterman, the senior year that Hayden Ainsworth had after reclassifying up. Claude Puma remains just the big splashy ad of this offensive line group. And if they land Mika Metella, you still feel good about the 4-man offensive line room you had, the offensive line depth you had. But yeah, I mean, it sucks to lose a guy like Leon Noyle that you had committed for so long, and most importantly, in my opinion, felt like Nebraska, that was a big step forward in their efforts in New Orleans, in Louisiana in particular. That's a powerhouse program. They were on him and his 27 teammate. Now at this point, I really strongly doubt they're going to have a chance at landing his 27 teammate. That's not going to stop him from trying in New Orleans, but it's just tough. It's a tough development.
All right, second question on kind of what we were talking about there. A lot of D-line and linebacker talk. I'm curious, which group do you like better in terms of who's currently on the roster? Because I think that kind of impacts how you view the recruitment of those extra guys.
I like the D-line room a little more now, just in terms of what I think this group could be with another offseason of development, another year. These guys are so young. I do think they need, like in terms of what they need to add, obviously they need, I think, some D linemen to add depth. And I think it would obviously help to add a high impact guy before next year. That said, I think more importantly for next year, you need more athleticism in the linebacker room. You need kind of a big athletic leader in there that, especially with the loss of Javen Wright after the season, you need a big, a Taylor Schaefer-esque kind of just big linebacker, a big athletic linebacker in the room, in my opinion. That said, I do think they're going to address both. I think D-line and linebacker help are coming. I think right now, in terms of what Nebraska needs for 26, I think a big athletic playmaking linebacker would answer and solve a lot of these defenses' problems.
Tim, if Emmett does what a lot of people consider Emmett will go and do after the season wraps up, does that mean transfer portal conversation for running backs part 2 as we follow from last season, or do you think it's going to be more of a priority for Nebraska to try to target to replace him? How do you see that one unfolding?
I think regardless, I think transfer portal, like running back in the transfer portal, is going to be addressed. I think, again, very much depends on what Emmett does. I think at this point, the smart move for Emmett would be to capitalize on his ascending stock. Running back is a position where it's about the tread on the tires. It's about getting there healthy, capitalizing when your stock is high. I think he should declare at the end of this year, obviously barring how these next 2 games go, but I think he should declare at the end of the year. And if that does happen, I could see Nebraska adding like 2 running backs out of the portal potentially.
All right, Tim, let's shift our focus to the game this weekend with Penn State. What are you hearing? I guess this is still sort of a recruiting question, but what are you hearing about the contact between James Franklin and maybe some current Penn State players, his former players, as well as it seems like there's been a lot of outreach to staff members, which is not tampering, that he's reached out to former Penn State staffers as well. Like, how much do you think that impacts this game tomorrow?
I'm very interested how much it does, just because I've seen a lot of the movement so far has been behind the scenes. A lot of the like recruiting staffers and behind the scenes, just random personnel people within Penn State's department are now in Blacksburg. Like, they've already just quietly disappeared off Penn State's athletics website and staffing website, are now on Virginia Tech's. And obviously there is some of those conversations ongoing behind the scenes with some of those players. So I think the timing of all of this is very fascinating. I wasn't sure going into the week or at least going into the bye week, if James Franklin would have a destination set by the time this game happened.
Mm-hmm.
when Virginia Tech kind of put that pressure over the weekend, and then obviously, he got announced early this week. Yeah, like I think that changes some things in that locker room. I think there's some people in there that, might be a little distracted because they've got their attention turned to, getting down to Blacksburg and their future in Blacksburg versus, what is on the table now at Penn State. Because again, they're fighting. The whole goal has been rallying together to rectify this season and fight for a bowl game, fight for a bowl appearance. If a lot of these guys, not a lot of, but if there's guys in this two deep that are going to be following James Franklin to Blacksburg, I don't know how many of those guys, how much of an incentive is now to go, earn a bowl game they're not probably going to be participating in.
Tim, when you look at what Penn State has been through this season, just in Big Ten play, and obviously the Vegas spread, all that has been the long conversation this week. What I've been most interested in the past 24 hours is how people have not given Nebraska the credit for winning close games, but give Penn State credit for losing close games. Do you think that that's part of this conversation for this game, that if it's a close one, Nebraska probably should actually be given the favor in that?
Maybe, but sure, but at the same time, it's I think what I've written about this game all game is you toss the records out a little bit just because of what the talent looks like. This is a Penn State team that across the board coming into the year on paper and what we saw these last 2 weeks, I think across the roster, you can make the argument is a more talented roster than Nebraska. I don't even think it's an argument. I think it's just kind of fact. And that's where, hey, this is a team that, they struggled early on this year for a variety of different reasons. They faltered. They have completely. It's a program that's been their season completely derailed. That said, they've rallied behind one another. They've rallied around each other. They're playing like a team that has a bunch of 4- and 5-star prospects, and they're a team that is, again, quietly tested. They've been in these big moments. They made the college football playoff last year. They made a run in the college football playoff last year. So this is the team that, again, if we're talking, it's Saturday evening and it's the third quarter and it's a close game between these two teams, I don't think Nebraska is necessarily better positioned to handle that moment. But this year, this season alone, they have been. Is that going to actually impact the outcome Saturday evening? Maybe not, because the leaders of this Penn State team have stepped up, and the guys that have stepped up as leaders are guys that have been trialed and tested in these big moments, in these late game situations, and know how to attack these moments.
Tim, we've talked a lot about the talent gap or perceived talent gap a lot this week between Penn State and Nebraska. One of our friends over at Matrix Analytical has told us they've got Penn State at 14th nationally. They've got Nebraska 23rd. Some of the recruiting sites that put out these rankings have Penn State at 10th, Nebraska at 20th, about the same gap, 9 or 10 spots. Do you think the way we talk about Penn State's talent versus Nebraska talent reflect that, I think, relatively close gap in talent? Or do you think we have been talking about Penn State as greater than that? And if so, why?
I don't think it's a matter of greater than. I think it's just where the advantage is somewhat sizable. Like the gap between hey, Danny Deadness and Nebraska's best edge rusher is pretty sizable, I mean, Nebraska would love to have a running back duo like Nicholas Singleton and Katrin Allen, and that receiver room is pretty talented. I think obviously Nebraska, would probably have the edge in terms of receiver talent. Offensive line, I think you give the edge to Penn State. Defensive depth, I think you give the edge to Penn State. I think it's not the fact that I think, again, 1-for-1, if you looked across the two deep, I think it's relatively close. But when you sum up all of it and you look at, this overall DB room compared Nebraska's overall DB room compared to Penn State's overall DB room and the linebacker room and so on and so forth. It's like you look at the overall broad brush of talent and the depth and what you will need. Again, to win this game, I think both teams are going to need to call on some depth. And when you look at that, the better depth is coming on Penn State's end.
Who do you think has the better option as their backup quarterback or current starting quarterback?
I think the better pound for pound talent wise, I think maybe you could give Grunkemeyer the edge. I think in terms of what the offense wants them to do and what they need to do to win the game, I think you could give the edge to TJ Lateef, in my opinion.
Where do you see the biggest talent gap then? Because, I mean, if that has been the conversation between Penn State and Nebraska so far, and if that is what the 10.5 point spread was when it opened, do you see one significant part of Penn State's roster that is so much further ahead than Nebraska's?
I think their front seven is better than Nebraska's front seven, like sizably. I think the way they played specifically these last few weeks, I think. And then again, Nebraska's secondary has played at a very high level, but I think I do like some of the secondary members of, or some of the members of Penn State's secondary like a whole lot. Like again, it's a difference between, I think Nebraska's secondary, there's NFL talent that's playing together at a very high level. I think Penn State's secondary is littered with NFL guys.
That is our guy, Tim VERGHESE from inside Nebraska. Tim, how do you think the game goes this weekend?
I have Nebraska just like losing in short, like just like it's going to be just, but I think it's close. I think it's very close. And I think ultimately what favors Penn State for me is what I still anticipate to be a pretty raucous road environment, a pretty, Nebraska's walking into enemy territory, essentially. I think that's what gives Penn State the edge, but I think it's going to be a very close game. I do still have Nebraska getting to 8 wins. I just think it happens next week, not this week.
There you go. That is Tim VERGHESE from inside Nebraska. Tim, appreciate the time. As always, great stuff. We'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Tim.
That is Tim VERGHESE for what it's worth.
Was that your least favorite Tim segment?
Just the last part. But no, I understand his point that there's certain places where I think there's certain places where the matchups might favor Penn State more than the overall talent.
And I can also see that from his perspective as like a talent evaluator.
So that's the other thing.
Where you can see that. I can't argue that perspective of it.
But I also, and I didn't bring this up because I don't need to belabor the point, but obviously that talent hasn't played to their talent level this year.
And that was the point that I was making too. They lost their first 6 Big Ten games. And yeah, some of them were by 1 or 3 points, but I'm pretty sure if you don't score more than the other team, you still lose the game, right?
And also 3 common opponents in Nebraska, 1-2 versus 3-0.
Yeah.
So that's my other point. So I do understand his perspective as a talent evaluator, as a recruiting guy. That totally makes sense. I also think that the way they've played this year, they haven't played like 4 and 5 stars for the most part. I don't think. I will say, you know what the line is as of this morning?
6.5?
Down to 7.5. I said between 6.5 and 7.5 before game time. We're trending in that direction. See where it goes.
You know, so people keep saying, and I even referenced it earlier, it opened at 10.5. It opened on Sunday. A week ago before Penn State had a win, it was 7.5. And then they beat Michigan State, and then it was 10.5 on Sunday morning.
Which Michigan State famously not good.
Yeah, so how does beating Michigan State get you 3 points over a team that Nebraska, I mean,
I don't know.
So people poured their money into Penn State for whatever reason. So
yeah, and I think that that's coming on down. I think it's 6.5 before kickoff. I said earlier in the week I said between 6.5 and 7.5. Obviously we've gotten to the 7.5. I think it's somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 6.5 by kickoff.
Now, 4 weeks ago, I don't know what the line or spread would have been or anything like that, but Nebraska would have been the team that had all the distractions, right? If they had a similar record.
4 weeks ago, Penn State 10.5 makes more sense because they hadn't lost 6 games in a row at that point. Obviously, I know they got the win against Michigan State, but they were sort of in that. That was right on I think right around the time they fired Franklin. So if you had done it before Franklin got fired, 10.5 makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Basically, at any point since Franklin has gotten fired, I don't think 10.5 ever made sense.
Right.
Like at all.
But of course, then they're like, oh, well, look, they lost by 1 to Iowa and they lost by, 1 score to Indiana.
I was 6-4.
Yeah.
Like I was 6-4.
Receiving votes.
Cool.
In case people.
Nebraska's receiving votes in the coaches poll. Did you see that?
I did.
Like, so what are we talking about?
I know.
Like, Iowa is a team that Nebraska is going to struggle with. They always do. But we can't act like Iowa is this big, scary version of themselves this year. They're not.
I also just hate the narrative too that it's always, and we have this like sheep mentality sometimes, just like as Husker fans, that we look at across the opposing side and we're scarred and we're burned from, experiences of past and whatnot. But why can't Nebraska have put some fear into the opposing team, right? Like what TJ Lateef did against UCLA, and then we have a bye week to get more healthy and everything. Like there's no version of a Penn State fan that's not going to Happy Valley, that's going to stay at home and watch the game in Harrisburg or wherever, that they're just going to be, they're not worried about what Lateef could do to them on the road. And Iowa's the same thing. They didn't watch any of the Nebraska games and just go, oh, wow. Like
backup quarterback.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I hope Gronowski doesn't have to drop back to pass against a top 10 rated pass defense in Nebraska.
Yeah.
But And instead, we always accept the mentality of, well, it's what other teams can do to us. That's why we're afraid. We always think of ways that Nebraska will lose instead of ways that Nebraska is advantageous and can take the win.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, when I look at the Penn State game, I keep going back to the same result, but Nebraska's played in close games. They have that DNA finally that's coming back that we've been begging for them to have for 5 or 6 years. And now they have a chance to prove it on the road in a hostile environment, however hostile it's going to be.
Still don't know that I'm buying that.
But still, I just don't understand the sheep mentality that sometimes we as a collective, as Nebraska fans, can have as the group and just say, oh, well, we're 10.5-point underdogs, so clearly they're more talented, or clearly it's all this other stuff.
Here's what I know. Both Penn State and Iowa will have an opportunity to hurt Nebraska in the run game.
100%.
Now, I do think Gronowski maybe is a little more dangerous in terms of the unscripted QB runs than Grunkemeyer is. I haven't been impressed with his legs so far this year. They may try and make that a part of their attack just because Nebraska struggled with it. But I do understand that you have the concerns with the rushing game. I also understand that I don't think either of those guys can beat you with his arm.
Yeah,
that gives Nebraska an opportunity to, and I don't know if they will or not, right? Because they didn't
against Bryce Underwood.
They didn't against Michigan, and it frustrated me.
Yep.
Right? They're going to have an opportunity to load up against the run in a way that they haven't been able to against Nico or Jaden Mayava or Brennan Sorsby or even Aiden Childs or Malik Washington, all guys who are better throwers of the football than Mark Gronowski and Ethan Grunkemeyer. Like, those are, you have an opportunity here. I get that they do some things that Nebraska hasn't been as good at this year. Although, again, I think the running back run game struggles, while it's not as bad as we think it is. The thing that has really, really hurt Nebraska, I did the math yesterday while for what it's worth. If you take out all QB run stats from Nebraska's team this year, that includes some negatives, right? So I added yards back into some teams' totals,
right,
and I took out all negative team rushing yards. So that is botched snaps, things like that, which that added quite a bit to several of these teams as well. Nebraska's giving up 132 yards rushing a game. That takes off about 35 rushing yards from their total a game. That is, like, if you look at that on the surface and you're like, hey, if I don't think this guy's beating me with unscripted runs, I can look at that and I go, well, Nebraska can win a game giving up 132 yards a game.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely on the table. Now, if they give up 232 yards, which was pretty close to the number they gave up against, like, Michigan, who also had QB run game, by the way, but whatever. That's a problem, right? If Nebraska can continue to keep teams in that, like, 300 to 350 yards of total offense, I think they've got a really good shot against Penn State.
Yeah.
Like, that's the number they haven't given up 400 yards of total offense all year. That's the number that's a winnable number. 300 yards of total offense is a winnable number on defense. They're bringing up 19, 20 points a game. That's a winnable number on defense, right?
Penn State's currently averaging 325 yards per game.
Rushing?
Total.
Just total.
Yep.
Right. So if you can keep them.
Can you imagine what that's ranked in the country?
It's not good. It is 87th.
109th.
Oh, God, that's bad.
It's very bad.
So you take that, it's split pretty evenly, if I remember. I think it's like 160-ish rushing and like 160-ish passing. I might have that off a little bit, but it's pretty evenly split. I know it's less than 200 yards passing a game.
Yeah, yards rushing is 151.7, so 152, and then passing is 173rd.
Yeah, so like basically one. I mean,
pretty much, yeah.
So basically split down the middle there. So I look at that and I go, okay, if they can keep Penn State to their averages, probably, if I had to guess, it would be slightly below their average on passing yards, maybe slightly above their average in rushing yards. Nebraska can win that game. Like that's Nebraska can win that game. So I get that there might be some matchups here that we don't love for Nebraska, and we'll get into maybe some keys to the game here in a second. But I don't look at this as, oh, they're going to run for 300 yards on Nebraska. Maybe they will.
Yep.
But I also know if you have they have an opportunity to say, hey, Ethan, beat us with your arm.
Right.
Good luck. Like, good luck. I don't know if they'll do that or not, but that's an opportunity they have. They have an opportunity next week, literally a week from today, to say, hey, Mark Gronowski, throw it as many times as you want.
Yeah.
Go for it, bud. We'll see how it goes.
If Grunkmeyer and Gronowski both have 40 passing attempts, you feel pretty good, right?
If they have 25 passing attempts, I think.
Yeah.
You feel really good about how that game went.
Yeah.
And if they have 25 passing attempts or more and they beat you, well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Tip of the cap. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing we say all the time with certain defenses. Greg McDermott does this a lot, right? Where it's, hey, if you can make 40 mid-range jumpers and beat Creighton that way, congrats, you win. Like, well done. That's how we're going to play it. You're going to have an opportunity to shoot those all you want. That's how I think Nebraska needs to play this. Gronowski and Grunkmeyer, throw the ball all you want.
The two Gs.
Have fun.
Yeah.
We'll see if they move in silence like lasagna. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. We will be back with a little bit more Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next. But first, got to tell you about our friends over at Dingman's Collision Center. They have been family owned and operated right here in Omaha, and their roots run deep in the city. They live here, raise their families here, and take pride in serving communities, the same communities that you're in. They've got 4 great Omaha area locations, and they've been voted first place best of Omaha for 20 straight years for auto body repair. Go to dingmans.com to learn more about everything that they put into their business, because everything they put into their business, they put into the quality of their repairs as well. It's dingmans.com. We'll be right back. That's a gong, not a ding.
I didn't have to ding.
All right. We'll be back.
Yeah, obviously with Donovan being a center, takes great pride in those guys making protection points and adjustments and things like that. The quarterback obviously can always trump those, but Justin has really grown in those areas. He did a nice job at guard. He's naturally a center. He's aggressive. He's physical, but he's really, really smart. And we're a high volume, pro style offense, right? So he has to do a lot of different things. It'll certainly help us going into this game, and especially with having poise and the noise. You can't have 3 linemen on one page and 2 on the other. So Justin's a great anchor in there that the guys respect, and he'll make sure that we have 5 guys working as one. He's a great player. He's also extremely relentless. He's athletic. He's a rare inside guy that that can run like a pirate inside movement by the other 2 guys, and he can come around and he can run down quarterbacks. He's just that level of athleticism. So it really, it's across the board. Their young pass rushers are fantastic. They are a defense built off of pass rush and pressure and tight coverage. So, but yeah, he's just really athletic. He's got great moves. They're really well coached.
Almost 40 practices. We played 2 exhibition games. We played 3 real games going into tonight, and I'm done asking guys to do what I want done. And if they're not able to do it, then we're gonna have to play somebody else. And when Hudson goes in the game, I know he's going to give me everything that he has, and he's going to fight. And he's arguably our best athlete. You know, he gets 7 rebounds tonight in 13 minutes, gets 4 assists in 13 minutes. So he's playing the right way, and he'll get better with each passing game. And I probably felt like our best chance to have a good team in January. And there's going to be some bumps in the road between now and then as he gets his feet under him. It was going to include Hudson in the rotation.
We're in the neighborhood, just down the street. With a wide variety of home equity products to help you create a relaxing oasis. So you can kick back and relax in comfort. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you to make sure you go see our friends at Centris Federal Credit Union, especially if you're trying to save a little bit of money. During the holiday season, that can be tough, but they've got lots of options for you to save money, whether it is their certificate and savings accounts bundle or their Centris Roundup program. They've got something for you, even like with the Roundup program. You're spending a little money, you're saving a little money. They can help you out there. And they've got experts, of course, at Centris to help guide you on your financial path. Make sure you visit them, centrisfcu.org. Terms and conditions apply and federally insured by NCUA. All right. Want to give a real quick shout out to one of our primary listeners. I think they call them P1s in the radio biz.
I think we do need
we need
names.
nicknames.
Yeah, we need
we need nicknames.
the livers.
Nope, don't love that.
No, what do you mean? The livers?
The livers. For Tim Boyd, who's in the chat all the time. Happy birthday to Tim.
Happy birthday, Tim.
It is Tim's birthday, so congrats on making it another year, I guess.
Is Tim a Western Nebraska guy?
No, Tim is South Dakota, born in South Dakota, born and raised.
Just there, Palin.
Went real Canadian there. Yeah, he's from South Dakota, moved down to Nebraska, went to college down here. Actually went to the same college I went to, but we were separated by a few years. And then now he's in Florida.
Whoa.
Yeah, he lives in Florida.
Nice.
He's a professional stand-up comedian.
Professional stand-up comedian. Good for him.
Yeah, he does.
Florida's a place to do that too.
Well, it's real easy to fly out of there. So he travels a lot.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Tim.
Happy birthday, Tim.
Tim's a good friend. So we appreciate Tim. No, I wanted to get to some keys to the game for Nebraska and Penn State here before we talk to DB. What's up?
What about Garden County Southwest? That's the game playing today.
Oh, shoot.
You don't want to talk about six-man football?
We can if you'd like.
The team that scores the most wins. All right, Penn State and Nebraska.
I will give you 60 seconds
if
you would like to talk about.
No, I'll ask DB about it. I'm going to see if DB actually has ball knowledge on six-man. I think it'll be very fun.
All right, there we go. We'll see what DB has.
I'm just going to pull it out right at the very end. Be like, hey, give me a pick.
Are you heading to Kearney right after this?
No, I got to work. I got to do stuff right now.
Oh, yeah, shoot. Yeah. What time are you leaving?
Hopefully about 2.
You drive a lot.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. I don't do it for pride and pleasure. I do it for work.
For love of the game.
Some of it is. I'll tell you what, when I showed up after that Sydney Lakeview game, when I showed up to Howells Dodge, I was treated like a king. People were like, whoa, where have you're going everywhere today.
Big game chain guys here?
Yeah. It is low key. It's really cool that happens. Although it's cool, but it's not as fun when they don't know who I am. they're just like, that's the big game chain guy. But then I'm not like Austin.
No, it's
I'm
just progress.
Like, yeah.
Listen,
piece by piece.
A lot of times I get like, oh, you're DB's co-host.
Oh, that hurts.
No,
hurts
listen, they're still watching. They're still
That's
watching.
Fair. That's fair.
Listen, it doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, there's a lot of people who could be DB's co-host, and it's me. So
that's fair.
You know,
yeah.
I like to take the positive spin on it.
That's a good way to do it. My ego's been bruised, so I gotta recover from that. But we'll be good. Looking forward to going to Kearney. Jansen and I are going. So
are you?
Yeah.
Nice. Is Jansen a Western Nebraska guy?
No.
He's a Lincoln guy, right?
He's a Lincoln guy.
So he's a Western Nebraska.
I had convinced Jansen that we were going to have like a very fun trip, and I had originally had like a pool of people that were going to come. One of them left to get another job somewhere else, so that was tough. Yeah, Ranch. The hell?
Just kidding. Congrats. Hope everything's going well in New York.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm just gonna assume it's not. But then everyone else apparently got busy because Nebraska had to play at Penn State, and then we just had everything else happening at the same time. So then my posse of Western Nebraska crew to watch Six Man dwindled to me and Jansen.
To just a duo.
And then Jansen got assigned a lot of work to do before the game, and he's like, this isn't fun anymore. And I was like, I'm sorry. I wanted it to be fun. I thought it was going to be fun. We're still going to have fun. But yeah, it's going to be like an in and out experience. We're going to go down, going to have a good time. My parents are putting us up. There's a new brewery in town, which, is everyone's dream.
Absolutely.
So we have to go there.
Got to.
My parents called me yesterday and were just like begging, can we take you out to eat at the brewery? Great.
Sure.
I've never eaten at one of those before. What will they have? Oh, pretzels and beer cheese?
Incredible.
I'm shocked. Oh, a new winter beer is tapped? Color me in. I'm in. I'm all the way for it. Let's go.
Avery says, wow, Branch catching strays out here.
I'm sure she's fine.
Travis says, oh no, small town football people are going to come after Ravi. Got to be careful. Listen, I love Six Man.
They'll never come after me.
You're one of them.
I am.
You're one of the
I'm one of the people.
I'm one of the people. You're one of them.
But let me plug this. And I know obviously next week, Monday, Tuesday, we'll talk more about, those games. You've got to watch these 8-man games.
Oh, I do. I watch the 8-man games every year. That was the funniest thing about this whole thing is I love 8-man football.
I'm going to tell you right now, the total for both those games on Monday, over 80 points.
I would say it's 80, right? It's got to be 80.
It's going to be gigantic. I mean, Crofton themselves, they average in the postseason 67 points.
I remember watching these for the first time, like when I was in high school. So this has been over 20 years where I started watching on Nebraska Public Television or whatever they call it now. These 8-man games. I love the 8-man games are so much fun. I remember, I can't remember who it was. Did Norfolk Catholic ever play 8-man? Or have they always been 11?
I think they've always been 11.
It was somebody whose jerseys remind me of Norfolk Catholic that I just remember watching. And that was the first game.
Early 2000s?
Yeah, probably 02, 03.
Interesting. Okay.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Go on.
But that was one of the first times where I was like, oh, this is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
This is
it's fun.
It looks like Big 12 football. It's
really
awesome.
Really good 8-man football is a lot of fun to watch. It's one of the best because it's usually points galore, or you get just like a defensive stalemate where it turns into rugby and everyone's just like shifting around the field. Yeah, it's the best.
I prefer the wide open style, but
I'm sure you do.
I'm a basketball guy, so I kind of like the up and down a little bit.
I get it. No, 6-man would be yours to call it basketball and grass for a reason. It'll be on turf today, Ron and Carroll Cope Stadium.
Listen,
we'll see you there.
Shout out to UNK.
Yep, Garden County, Southwest. Can you tell me where either of those schools are located? Give me the towns.
Ooh, Garden County.
They're west of Kearney.
Okay.
One is in Central Time, right on the line.
Okay.
The other one is in Mountain Time.
Do you want me to tell you the biggest town in that county?
No, I want you to tell me where the school is located. Because Garden County is the school of the county, obviously, and then Southwest is a school that is a conglomerate of several towns, but is located in one town. What? Any of the towns you mentioned, I'll give it to you. I'll literally give you any of the towns that Garden County or Southwest conglomerate.
I'm literally just guessing.
Okay, Garden County starts with an O.
Give me Ogallala.
Very close. Oshkosh in that area.
Okay,
it's not bad. You've never heard of Oshkosh, have you?
I have.
Okay,
I have.
Southwest, there's a few.
Give me a couple hints.
One starts with an I and has a state name in its town name.
Oh,
another one could be its town name could be confused with like an alcoholic beverage.
Pilsner.
Oh, that was very good. So you're thinking Pilger?
Oh, shoot.
But no, it's not Pilger either. It's Bartley and Indianola.
I think I was mixing Wisner,
Pilger, yes.
and Pilger. So I came up with Pilsner.
That's pretty good. I'm proud of you for playing. Thanks for playing. All right, he's the game, Penn State. We're off that train now. You know, the ways that we get off the rails are far different than how you and DB get off the rails.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Let's get to some keys of the game for Nebraska and Penn State. Do you have some, or do you just want to talk about mine? Like, have you come up with some?
So the only one that I have is the one that I keep coming back to. And the reason I keep going back to it is because of, and I say this almost every single time I come on, that Nebraska fans are so scarred and, you know, we're so beat up from all the years that we've had all these one-score losses, and it was the narrative that was brought upon us for so many years in a row. I think that that's probably past now because of the way Nebraska's won a couple of these games this season. But when you look at a team like Penn State and you're 4-6 on the year, if you get into the fourth quarter of a game in which it's a close game and Nebraska makes a late play, like they have so far this season, does that not put Penn State into a new mentality of like, oh, here we go again.
Sure.
We've had this happen. I think that's a very realistic thing. And especially if you've been told all week, hey, you're 10.5-point favorites. You're way more talented than this team. You should beat this team. This is a chance for you to get a bowl game. And things don't go your way at home. There's a high probability that the volatility of the situation overcomes Penn State, and Nebraska can take advantage of that. And I believe Nebraska can because they've proven it so far this season.
And Penn State has proven the exact opposite so far this season.
Yeah.
So that's a fair point.
I think, truthfully, for me, for my key to the game,
get him into deep waters.
Get him in deep waters and make it a four-quarter game. If you're in it, if it's a one-score game in the fourth quarter, I trust Nebraska's ability to win the game.
When's the last time you said that?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
All right. I'm going to get a little more specific on you here.
Please.
With the ones. I said this earlier. Make Grunkmeyer beat you.
Yep.
Just make him beat you. Like that's obviously Nick Singleton, Katron Allen. Katron Allen has definitely had the better year, but very, very quality backs. Tim talked about the Penn State offensive line. I think you look at that and say, hey, I'm loading up. I'm showing 8 in the box. And which means Penn State, if they operate the way most offenses do, they see 8 in the box, they're going to say, all right, that means we need to be in a pass play. We got to put this in Grunkmeyer's hands. I'd show 8 in the box basically all day. However that looks in different ways. DB can get into more of that than I can, but I know you can make it look a lot different to confuse Grunkmeyer, which, again, Coach Butler talked about this week. He's pretty good when he knows what he's looking at, which indicates to me he doesn't always know what he's looking at, right? So show 8 in the box. That doesn't mean you always have to have 8 towards, like, end up being towards the line of scrimmage. You move guys in and out of that. Maybe show some blitzes that aren't actually coming, but make them think they have to throw the ball.
Yeah. And do you have a number in your head that would be
passing attempts?
Yeah, like if Grunkmeyer drops back this many, and I'll even say dropbacks, accounting for sacks, accounting for all that other stuff, right?
I do think it's a drop back issue, not a pass attempts issue. So he had 21 against Michigan State.
And they won.
Only actually threw the ball 13 times. I think if you get him to 25 dropbacks, you're in good shape.
Okay.
That's the number I've had in my head all week. Now, I do think you probably want that to end up being closer to 18 to 22 pass attempts out of those dropbacks. But again, Grunkmeyer isn't the type of runner that I look at and go, hey, he can beat us just scrambling.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't think Nico could, and I was right. I didn't think Brent Sorsby could, and I was right. Underwood, his touchdown was a design run. I don't think Grunkmeyer has the ability to beat Nebraska scrambling. So I'm not as hard-lined on that 18 to 22 number, although I will absolutely take Nebraska's pass defense over anything else in this game.
Well, again, that's the thing is Nebraska's strength is the pass defense. We're so far into the season that it's not Nebraska.
This is not an outlier.
Nebraska's pass defense is only rated well because people run against them.
They're third in the country in passing yards allowed.
Look, what are we talking about? They're a top 10 pass defense. You should want them to throw against this defense.
Yes. So I look at it and I go, hey, I want at least 25 dropbacks. I'm assuming like a 55 play type game. So 25 dropbacks in a 55 play type game is pretty close to the percentage I want. I would love to see at least 20 pass attempts. That would make me feel great about how this game has gone. That's number one. Make Grunkmeyer beat you. Number two, I think EJ is going to cook regardless.
Okay.
Like, I think he's good. I think that's where we're at in this point of his career. Like, I think he's going to get his yards, whatever that looks like, whether it's 27 carries, 31 carries. I have no idea. He's going to get more than 20 carries, and I think he's going to get his yards. I think you kind of need to let TJ loose a little bit with his legs. There's been a couple teams this year that have really, really cooked Penn State with QB run game, and that is UCLA and that is Iowa. Both of those guys went for north of 120 running the ball against Penn State. Now, I don't think TJ is going to go for 120. What I am saying is I think athletically he's somewhere between Gronowski and Nico.
Right.
So if you kind of split the difference there, if he can get like 40 to 50 rushing yards, I feel pretty good.
If he gets 50 rushing yards and one of those is an impact play, like something over 15 yards,
or like, hey, it's a 3rd and 8 conversion on a scramble or something like that. Like if he gets like 40, 50 rushing yards, I feel pretty good about how this game's going, because that is an area. And I think, again, like they did against UCLA, I think you show early QB designed run right off the bat, so they know it's something they're going to have to deal with and account for the entire game. And then put him in situations, whether it's, we've seen some of those QB rollouts where he's got the option to run, whether it's kind of cutting the field in half for him a little bit. And this isn't to say he can't read a defense, but in order to allow the running lanes and things to develop, I do think maybe you cut down some of the reads so that maybe the 3rd read is take off instead of check down, right?
Yeah.
I think that's more hurtful to Penn State's defense, him taking off, than him having a check down. I think you need to let TJ go a little bit with his legs. And this is from somebody who knows the guy can spin it. Like, I'm not sitting here telling you that he's a mobile quarterback first or anything like that. I think because of a specific weakness in the Penn State defense, getting him moving a little bit can be really, really damaging for them. Last one for me.
Yep.
I really, really believe we need an impact special teams play. That to me flips whatever. It generally steals a possession.
It's an equalizer,
which is huge. If the crowd has any level of hostility, that is a real, like, special teams are backbreakers in terms of the way a fan base reacts to them.
Yep.
We know we've been on the wrong end of it for years.
Yes.
We also got on the right end of it a couple times this year, and we're like, oh my God, this feels amazing, right? So if you can have an impact special teams play, whether it's Ja'Cory Barney return, Kenneth Williams return, blocked kick, even a really long field goal, anything like that, an impact special teams play, I think equalizes whatever home field advantage or talent advantage that Penn State might have. I think that flips it immediately, especially if you can get it early in the game. If you can get first half, I mean, obviously a late special teams play is huge too, right? But in terms of tone setting, if you can get a first half impact special teams play, I think that can really take Penn State out of what they're trying to do. And if all three of those things happen, Nebraska 100% wins. And if all three of those things happen, I don't think it's particularly close. If 2 out of the 3 happen, I think Nebraska gives themselves that one possession game opportunity to go out and win it at the end.
And I agree with you, but even I'll small scale it. I'll patch it on to my point as well. If it's a 1-score game in the 4th quarter, Penn State is driving down the field, you force them to kick a field goal, they miss that field goal, they will immediately sink into their seats at Happy Valley, because they'll be like, here goes again. And again, Nebraska knows that feeling all too well. Take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
It's just the most frustrating part about this whole thing is that, and you and I have had this conversation many times, if Nebraska wins this game,
Zero credit.
No credit.
No
credit for the win. None. Because they're like, oh, okay, so you were underdogs? Yeah, but they're terrible.
Yeah, they're 4-7 now. Like, what?
You made us 10.5-point underdogs. Like, what?
Yeah.
What else are we supposed to do?
That is the frustrating thing about this situation. If they were 10.5-point underdogs and Penn State was who we thought they'd be, or even let's say they had a disappointing year. Let's say they go through that 3-game losing streak, but they pull out of it, and now they're, what would that make them? 7-3. Let's say they're 6-4, 7-3, same kind of in the same place that Nebraska is, and they're 10.5-point favorites. I'd be like, maybe that feels a little heavy, but at least you get credit for beating a bowl eligible, talented Penn State team that their season just got away from them a little bit.
Yep.
That is not that's not how this is going to be viewed at all. If Nebraska wins, and it's the thing I've been mad about all week, and people are like, well, what do you care so much? This is why I care. it's either a tough game or it's not. It's either Nebraska's a 10.5 point underdog or 7.5 point now underdog, or they should win the game. Like, it cannot be both things. It can't.
Yep.
Like, I just watched it happen to UCLA. They were a road dog at UCLA and won that game, and were up 28-7 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
They were beating UCLA's head in until they packed it in and say, hey, you guys only win if we give it to you. We're packing this thing in.
Yep.
Like, they played winning football. They had the game plan to win, and they don't get any credit for that, even though they were underdogs on the road. Same thing's going to happen at Penn State. They don't get any credit if they beat an underdog on the road. That's what's frustrating about this. But at the end of the day, I don't care. Go get the win. Follow my keys. You got a W. Let's take a quick break here. We're going to get to DB. It's going to be like 30 seconds. We'll get to DB, see what he thinks about it. He probably thinks I'm crazy like he does all week, but it's okay.
Yeah, he's fine.
We'll talk about it with DB coming up next year on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Yeah, obviously with Donovan being a center, takes great pride in those guys making protection points and adjustments and things like that. The quarterback obviously can always trump those, but Justin has really grown in those areas. He did a nice job at guard. He's naturally a center. He's aggressive. He's physical, but he's really, really smart. And we're a high volume, pro style offense, right? So he has to do a lot of different things. It'll certainly help us going into this game, and especially with having poise and the noise. You can't have three linemen on one page and two on the other. So Justin's a great anchor in there that the guys respect, and he'll make sure that we have five guys working as one. He's a great player. He's also extremely relentless. He's athletic. He's a rare inside guy that that can run like a pirate inside movement by the other two guys, and he can come around and he can run down quarterbacks. He's just that level of athleticism. So it really, it's across the board. Their young pass rushers are fantastic. They are a defense built off of pass rush and pressure and tight coverage. So, but yeah, he's just really athletic. He's got great moves. They're really well coached.
Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Central Federal Credit Union. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by my regular co-host, one DB. What's going on, buddy?
How are we doing?
Hey, Damon. How are you? No handstands today?
No, not this morning. How you doing, Austin?
I'm good. It's good to be. Thanks for keeping the seat warm. It was fantastic to be in your spot today.
Oh, all I know is I wasn't sitting down, so that seat is however you found it is how it was left. So I don't know. You may want to ask a few questions.
Yeah, see, but this is the part where I would try to emulate what you had done earlier this week, but I don't have the core strength like you do, so I got
Oh, I don't even know what that was all about. That's you know me well enough now to know anything's possible. If it comes down to it.
Just a regular KG out here. Anything is possible, DB. How you feeling? How you feeling about the game tomorrow?
I'm good. I think it's it's going to be one of these deals where I never usually take the easiest angle, but I do think two things that coaches always talk about. Number one, whoever wins the turnover battle, I think wins the game. I'm not even going to get any fancier than that. I think if Nebraska takes it away more than they give it away, they'll win the game. If they don't, they won't. So I almost never surmise it like that easy.
Yeah.
But that's a big deal to me. I think Penn State's going to be a little feast or famine. They're going to bring a lot of plus pressures. Got to take care of the football in the pocket. Don't turn it over in traffic. And Nebraska's receivers and running backs got to understand when they get in the open, they're not really in the open. So make sure you take care of the ball because Penn State's going to come hunting. Got a chance to look at a lot of these stats, and I watched one more game last night, and I like Penn State a lot. It's a good team. It's not. I don't know. I think home field is worth a lot here. I think playing at night is worth a lot here. I don't know what the environment's going to be. I'm excited to get a feel for that, but take care of the football and pay attention to leaky yards. Allen is really good at kind of getting hit and crawling and lunging, and instead of 2nd and 8 or 7, it's like 2nd and 5, and you kind of wonder how. Nebraska can't get discouraged with that. They're going to give up some 5, 6, 7-yard runs. They cannot get creased for anything big, and you can't allow them to throw the ball over their heads. Grunkemeyer, they've taken some shots downfield with him. And he's got an arm, man. He might spin it a little bit. He's not a better quarterback right now than Drew Aller. I'm not saying that, but he may rip it a little better. And I think them getting down the field a little bit is kind of may lend itself to that thought process.
So when you're looking at kind of defensively, it sounds a lot like, to me, you feel like Penn State, and this is sort of how I felt against UCLA, that Penn State can't sustain drives consistently enough to score enough points to win. Is that a fair?
Yeah. So normally I'd agree with you, but Nebraska, I think, has given up 5 or 6 drives, 4 or 5 drives of 16 plays or more. So I won't make the blanket sweeping statements with regards to what Penn State can and can't do. I know that's what they'll want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get their fair share of handoffs. I think another key number to look at is both teams will probably snap the ball somewhere in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets much higher than that for Penn State, Nebraska is going to be in a little bit of trouble. This can't be a 64, 65, 66 snap game for Penn State, in my opinion.
Damon, when you look back at some of the film you've watched of Penn State's close losses, namely maybe that Iowa or Indiana games, what occurred that Penn State maybe gave that game away, especially late? Or was there defensive lapses? Was there like a key turnover like you had mentioned at the front end? Was just there something similar that you've noticed in some of those that led to those close losses?
So it's interesting about Penn State defensively. They've been a little boom or bust. Their propensity to give up big plays defensively from time to time is kind of staggering for as good as their talent is. They're really good for stretches, and then boom, they give up a score. Really good for stretches, then boom, they give up a score. So I think, Iowa was a little different because that was a tough week, I think, for Penn State. And they rallied, I think, emotionally as best they could. Iowa kind of wore them down, in my opinion. I think they just were tougher longer. And that was an emotion. It's pretty fresh when they played Iowa. But for the most part, those guys defensively, they get stops, and then it's a score. The last couple of weeks under Terry Smith, they've come with some corner blitzes, a few zone dogs where they'll drop that D line and bring some pressure. They've gotten kind of exotic. So with that, if you don't get home, you're leaving yourself a little bit vulnerable on the back end.
So do you think that's a game plan that Nebraska can replicate in terms of like out-toughing and outlasting Penn State?
Yeah, so I think I don't know if it'll be as easy as to say the team that has the more rushing attempt wins, but both teams are going to try to run it. But make no mistake about it. I think outside of turnovers, it will be count the explosives. They've been hard to come by, but the more explosives, and that's not really rocket science, but in a game like this that you think may be kind of grimy and back and forth with a ton of body blows, man, just don't give up anything easy. And to that point, Ravi, when Nebraska has their chance to get their hands on an interception, on an ill-advised throw, catch it. Because what Grunkemeyer will do is if he doesn't like it, he's going to throw that thing away. Like he's taken a few, he's flushed himself, kind of, not to go all Sam Darnold, but seeing some ghosts. And so how Nebraska affects him pre-snap is going to be critical. But if he gives you one and it's haphazard, you got to squeeze it. Conversely, I think Latif's got to take what's given to him. Be super patient. This isn't going to be a deal where I think Guys are going to be sitting wide open. There are going to be some contested catches and some body catches, and I think he's got to be willing to fit it in there, but don't put it in harm's way.
Can either team win if they have to attempt 25 passes?
See, I don't think so, because that means you've probably only ran the ball 25, 28 times.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see either team throwing the ball 25 times, but if they do, somebody's coming from behind. That's for sure.
Who's the team that can win having the most pass attempts, whatever that number is?
Nebraska. I think little better receiving group for Nebraska. Nebraska's secondary is better than Penn State. So if somebody's going to make a living throwing the ball and have success, I think it would be Nebraska.
It feels like the past few times in my recent experience that Nebraska's headed out to Penn State or has played Penn State, there's always something goofy going on. There was like the COVID game. Then obviously everything that had happened after the Joe Paterno incident, one of the first times that Nebraska went out there. If this game does get weird or has a weird moment, which team do you think can kind of rally and overcome either its own mistakes or if something goofy happens throughout the contest to be able to pull out a win?
I think I advantage home team with Penn State, right? They have one of the biggest punters in the country, if not the biggest. Their special teams is really good. I could see them kind of selling out, pulling out all stops. Their special teams is good. So I'm not saying they have to take a ton of chances. I'd say there could be something that happens within the special teams. I mean, we've seen guys step out of bounds and passes called complete. We've seen guys take knees and it's not really knees. We've seen, you mentioned 2011. A lot has gone on in that stadium. So, I mean, I'm prepared. It's overcast, may get a little moisture, cool night. Who knows what could happen in that place?
DB, as you're looking at Nebraska's roster, where their current health situation is, what position group do you think needs to step up the most based on this matchup against Penn State?
Easy breezy, linebacking core. Where the Nebraska plays 4 down or 5 down. I was doing this exercise with the cool folks out at Nebraska City, because a lot of people have these ideas like, hey, let's play 4 down and let's play 5 down. And so we filled in, a 4-3, what a 4-3 looks like. If you take a defensive back off the field, who do you put on? If you play 5 down, do you play like an old school 52 front or like an Okie front? Or, if you do, there's guys that are really close to the line of scrimmage. It's feast or famine. So I landed the plane no matter what personnel grouping I think Nebraska goes with. I think whatever combination of Bauer, Shavers, Watson Trent, and Buda Wright have to play really well. I think second leveled run fitting will be at a premium against a team like Penn State, especially with all the pre-snap motions and shifts. I really need that linebacker. I need the second unit to play well.
How about if you're looking at, we talked about John Butler's comments about Grunkmeyer and what he sees and when he sees it and when he identifies it correctly. If you're trying,
he can rip it.
When he knows what he's throwing at, right? That's what
exactly.
So
exactly.
If you're trying to confuse him a little bit pre-snap, maybe you are would you try and show Penn State something that would encourage them to throw it? Like, were you looking at maybe putting 7 or 8 in the box to make them think they need to throw it? Or how would you sort of approach that in also trying to both get them away from the thing they're best at and confuse Grunkmeyer a little bit?
Yeah, so the game within the game is 2 things. They're both in that answer. Number one, I think Nebraska's got to decide how much one high they want to play, right? Are you going to play cover 3? Are you going to zero out and play man free? Are you going to go 0-0 with no free and get in the box? So once they decide that, are you going to man up? Then I think you can decide on your pressure packages. Because what I would do if this were me, I would show multiple pressures pre-snap. I would crowd the box, and I would show and go. I would bluff and show. I would no show and go, where I would show pressure, not come. I would show pressure. Or I would I would show pressure and actually come. I would not show any pressure and then come. So I think the mixture of that affecting Grunkemeyer pre-snap is really, really critical, because I think ideally, when Penn State checks to pass, it's pretty horizontal. You know, and it's going to come out quick. So they had a really key third or fourth down last week against Michigan State where, you know, he got this thing, he zipped it out to Pena, and it was well thrown, and Pena got a chance to turn up the field and get the first down. And it's a big boy throw. You know, he only threw it probably, 15, 16 yards laterally and about, 3 yards deep. But it's balls like that come out that I think Nebraska has to be aggressive with. But if I'm Nebraska, I probably show pressure, probably try to get them to check, and then disguise coverage behind it.
DB, you mentioned Nebraska City here. I got to ask a non-football question. Who were the heads this week?
So it was Dayton Raiola. It was a bad angle, so you couldn't see the picture, but I only got one. It was just Dayton. I did get a framed picture of the Playfly crew. So
nice.
That was my second picture. But yeah, it was Dayton Raiola.
So you sent me the picture of it, and it looked like a big brain thing. Like it had like this huge.
I was standing over the chair. You know, my photog skills are immaculate.
I thought I'll have to share the picture that you sent me, because I was like, I don't know who that is, DB.
Yeah. And did I answer? Because I was probably getting ready to talk. It's a fun group.
You did not answer. That's why I asked, because I was like, I don't know who that was.
Yeah, it's a super. I'll send it to Austin. I'll see what he thinks. He might be able to figure it out now that he knows who it is, though.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Hey, did you get a hold of your St. Mary's coach?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to go, man. So this plane trip. Knucklehead needs a little medicine, and some of the guys are asking if I can bring some travel size Kleenex. I'm like, with the budget you guys got, like, ask your position coaches. But after I take care of the old pharmacy, I will. I'm going to watch a lot of film. I'm pretty excited to. Why Not is the team I'll probably knock out first. I know a fair amount about St. Mary's. Really, really familiar with Sandy Creek. I could talk about Gretna East like the back of my hand, and of course Waverly. That's a heck of a team. So I'll watch a ton. I was watching Huddle yesterday when Jacob was in, and he dimed me out. Always studying, watching Huddle. Jacob, I do pay attention to the show when I'm not standing on my head or making faces in the window or sitting on the floor or freaking Mitch Sherman out because I'm not even in the camera. I got to grow up, man. That's at the end of the day. I
will say your multitask skills are pretty impressive. Like I've never seen somebody that can pay attention to so many things at once.
Yeah, it's weird. It's the problem is if it's one thing for a long time, it's not going to work. It needs to be multiple things for little bits of time, and I'll be tremendous. The same thing for hours it's just not going to go well.
What's the plan once you get to State College? I know you picked out a spot. Like what's the game plan?
So it looks like, I'm trying to double check. It looks like we may be at 2 different hotels.
Oh,
maybe essential staff and non-essential staff, or maybe it's just me.
They put you in Harrisburg.
Hey, do you guys ever have it where like you get some information and it's like, oh, but you're afraid to like double check because it may just be you and you don't want anybody else to know that, like, that's. So I want to say, hey, are there 2 different hotels? And then have the answer be, oh, that's just where you're staying.
I would guess that's probably not the case. That doesn't seem efficient.
Yeah, so reservations are at 7, and I'm not going to share where until after, but it's only about 6 minutes. Well, everything's about 6 minutes from the stadium if you're staying in State College, but it's not quite as close as Maya's Rooftop was in Los Angeles. Like we walked like 2 blocks from where the hotel was, but it was still extremely far from the stadium. I don't know if we've ever eaten this close to the actual stadium.
What can you tell me, like, type of food we're going for?
It is not super. It is American, but not regional to where we live.
Okay. All right.
Shake Shack.
Everybody. I was watching Coach Rule's IG story. Can we go ahead and get this out of the way? Like, he said something that I think was. He said, because I'm famously not an In-N-Out guy.
Yeah, me either.
And he goes, In-N-Out, it's great, but once you leave California, like, that's it. Like, if I go here, I'm going to Shake Shack, because he was quietly saying that Runza has elite burgers, which I actually didn't mind.
They do.
The take, like, they
their
do
burgers
have
are good.
And they're kind of misshapen, and you get the sense they're like maybe fresh, but
yeah, they're like, you feel like they're made in house. And I
think there's a distinct difference between regional or tourists or not regional, like area or tourist traps versus what people that actually eat there like.
Yeah.
But I do think Shake Shack is one of those places. They had one at the mall in Minneapolis. I didn't go. Instead, I got $27 worth of gummy bears. But it makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Decision. No, it's a horrible plane ride decision. Oh.
I listen, fellas. There's the same gummy bears are in my mini fridge in the garage. Still, I shouldn't have even bought them. Like, they're literally just chilling. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go Shake Shack for like trendy. And what was his Texas burger? Texas burger is Whataburger.
Whataburger is way overrated.
Dude, Whataburger's breakfast is fantastic.
So I haven't had breakfast there. Breakfast there.
Never had it.
If you're looking for a natural laxative, hit that Whataburger.
I was like, I don't know what this means.
Hey man, I talk with my hands. Do you think that's changed considering I'm sitting at my dining room table? I'm ready to get in my car.
I didn't know what you were trying to say until but yeah. So
laxative.
I think Whataburger's way overrated. I think In-N-Out's way overrated. I do think.
Listen, I'm not taking a shot at In-N-Out necessarily, but again, it's one of those things.
It's the way people.
When you're talking about sauce, I'm probably out. Right? It's like there's a local place that hypes up their sauce. I'm like, well, what about the actual protein? It's like
food.
Like, oh man, you got to get that, animal style with that sauce. And I'm like, I like to taste what I'm eating. Like, how about not?
This is so I think
T-Mo's is a Shake Shack guy.
Is he? So Shake Shack's the one I haven't been to. I haven't been to a Shake Shack.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're missing out. I like a Shake Shack. I like it more than In-N-Out.
So In-N-Out
is it the buttery? What is it, Austin?
About the Shake Shack? It's just the whole experience. Well, one, the fries are significantly better. I mean, that makes and I know we're not talking like the same thing. Like, if you're just going burger straight up, I'm still picking Shake Shack. But there's something about like the smell of it, the way that you approach it, the bun itself. I think it's like a different type of roll as well. The protein on it, I feel like you actually get more of like an actual burger sense. I think the In-N-Out is just it's everything that comes with it, right? It's the hype, it's the dressing, it's the sauce, it's all that other stuff. If you're just going straight burger and you had to eat patty, I would go Shake Shack every single time.
I don't know what's the local. I haven't looked up like what's the local trendy chain there. And I'm so insecure. I of all the things I would ask Coach Rule, including cold call him on a humbug. I have yet to ask him anything. I haven't talked to him this week about anything Penn State-ish. Like, not, hey, where do I go eat? Not, hey. I haven't asked him one thing because I just get the sense he ain't in the mood.
He's a little early this week.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might get maybe a breakfast wreck before you get in on Saturday
morning. So I haven't even poked my head a lot of times since we stay right where the team does. A lot of times I'll poke my head down and see where their breakfast spot is because they have an amazing setup, like 35 proteins and an omelet station. I mean, it is immaculate, but I just don't have the stones to. It's just different. It's like the more acquainted I've gotten with the staff, the less I want to be around. It's kind of backwards.
Yeah, that is kind of a backwards,
I mean, look who you're talking to. Do I do anything like I'm supposed to?
Hey, speaking of doing things a little bit differently, who do you got tonight? Garden County or Southwest?
I'm going to take Garden County.
Ooh, okay. Like the rushing game?
I just think, what are they going to score? Like 140 between them, probably?
Yeah, that's another over game. I was telling Ravi earlier that the 8-man games take the over because at minimum, both those games will have 80 points in them.
I'm going to say this, and I don't know if this is popular or not, but ever since we moved to when we used to do the Shrine Bowl out there, Kearney's facility, that field is Ron and Carroll Cope State. That is a fantastic place to play games. I'm not even going to kid you. I like being out there.
Well, and then they added turf to Kearney Catholic at Miles Field too. So you've got 2 turf fields in Kearney, and then they've got the Sportsplex and everything out there. You got plenty of options to go play some games if you wanted to. It's a good place.
Oh goodness, what's Coach Hartwell like? They've got turf now at Kearney Catholic.
So I think I can say this. This is a funny story. The bishop came down to Kearney Catholic.
No pun intended.
No, the literal bishop. The actual bishop came down, and he goes, "This is where you play football?" And he goes, "We'll fix that. Next year they got turf."
Wow.
Some called it divine intervention.
Wow.
DB, we'll get you out of here on this so you can get to your flight. I
can't tell you how excited I am to sit for an hour and a half until the important people get there.
Give me a little game prediction tomorrow. What do we got?
For Penn State, Nebraska?
Yeah.
It's a 1-score game late. I've gone back and forth. I'll take Penn State 24-20.
Oh, okay.
I think they have to come from behind to do it.
Wow.
That's the opposite of what I've been saying all day.
All right. What do you think, AJ?
I keep thinking all these like Penn State games and stuff, and just that it's got that old Nebraska mentality to them where you've gotten beaten up, you've lost games in a certain way, and when they get into the fourth quarter, if it's a 1-score game, Nebraska's got a chance to be in it. Yeah. If Penn State makes a mistake, sometimes those here we go again moments happen. And I just think with everything, the expectation of where their season has been, what's gone on through their year, they might just fold up. And I think Nebraska can take advantage of it because I've seen them do it before the season. So I just surpassed that moment.
Nebraska, so the most surprising thing to me, but would be the most beneficial, is if Nebraska jumped on PSU early. If Nebraska jumped on Penn State early, they can play in a way that could actually salt that game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, like I've watched them, like they could, if they get up early, they could salt that thing.
I've been pretty consistent all week. I got Nebraska 28-20.
Ooh, if they got to 28, man, that'd be pretty sweet.
Damon, on that note, then you win the coin toss. You take the ball?
No, I'm a defer guy all day long. Okay. I want to see what's happening, and I'm kicking that thing off. Plus, I like defense.
Notably.
That is our guy, DB. Enjoy your trip out to the lovely State College. And
hey, you want another first world DB crybaby thing?
Always.
So normally my man KC and I'm A, and he's a C in the seats. I saw on the seating chart an A and a B, which means there's anti-Dave Matthews. There's no space between.
It's because you're taking the little plane out to their little airport, right?
Listen, I am. Hey, it's hurting my feelings.
You struggle a little bit.
It's hurting my. Like, who shares the elbow rest?
You got to be the alpha. You got to be the alpha.
Yeah, you got
to. No, Casey's tougher than I am when it comes to being mean-spirited. I'm not doing anything. I'll be just like this, leaning against the window.
DB, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Established dominance, DB.
No. Have you met that guy?
Not in person, actually.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, don't let the size fool you.
Oh, I'm not worried. You know I'm mean-spirited. I'm taking that armrest all day.
Yeah, so that's my biggest revelation before 10 this morning is no space between the seats.
Man, me and Benny Mac would be fighting over that elbow rest all the way out.
So I think I have to see how the seats are set. Alexa, stop it.
Did you say Alexis?
Alexa. She was reminding me to grab my AirPods out of the charger before I left. Bless your heart, Alexa. You know, she says thank you to everybody in the house but me.
Really? Are you mean to her?
I don't even know her. No. What do you mean am I mean to her?
When the AI takes over, you might be first on her list.
Ooh.
You know, like she'll say, good morning, Zoe, or thank you, Jenny. Or it's like, she don't even know my name. I'm just him.
Hey, that guy.
Yeah.
All right, DB, have a safe trip. We'll talk to and then actually we won't talk to you on Monday because you got the call out at Memorial Stadium for high school state championship. So you and I will talk on Tuesday. I'm sure we'll talk before then, but
I have a feeling I'll probably be talking to you about 5:30 this morning when I'm settled in, or tonight, one of the two.
I'll say no. I'm going to get a TikTok at about 2:48 in the morning. I'll be like,
I'm East Coast time too, so I have to be careful about bugging you.
It doesn't wake me up. You can hit me up whenever. I just won't answer for about 3 hours.
I reset my algorithm, so this morning it was this dog misbehaving with this little toddler, and they had spilled like flour or something, and the mom was like, "Which one of you did this?" And the little dude tooted, and like this little puff of flour came out. So you knew it was the little kid. So that's my algorithm right now.
My favorite is when the dogs like take out the kids when they're playing outside. They like just truck stick them basically. I think it's hilarious.
I'm telling you, man, it's a good thing kids don't have ACLs around pets.
Jeez.
I'm just saying.
Wrong. You're not wrong. DB, have a safe trip. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Appreciate you holding it down, AJ.
Yep. CDB.
Wally Pip out.
All right.
That is the one and only DB. All right. Let's take a quick break here. We're going to get to Bet On It, brought to you by Warhorse Casino and Sportsbook, and go through this slate of games that is not as good as it should be thanks to the SEC.
Taking Samson.
Thanks a lot, Ponzi scheme. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
Saturday night especially, I thought we had our legs. Again, I thought we looked a little tentative on Friday and just weren't skating up to the tempo and pace that we need to do against a team like that. And I thought Saturday, just right from the drop of the puck, we took the initiative necessary to be successful in those types of series against that type of opponent there. So, I just liked our pace better, liked our initiative better a little bit. I think, like you mentioned, we got lots of new guys that are getting used to the speed of the game, and I think when you watch too much against good teams there, it's tough to contain them, and you end up being in your own end a lot. So I liked our initiative there to be a little bit more aggressive in our style of play, and I thought it was positive for us.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centrist Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers Program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centrist Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Yeah, and this is a little different because it's a 2 bye week year. I think next year goes back to 1. So the early bye week was really about the whole team. But even right now, as I'm here, there's developmental practice going on. We do it every Thursday. It's actually, I had done it differently. It's actually something Coach Holgerson brought. Like, hey, this is how I like to do this on Thursdays, and it's been fantastic. Like, they put their pads on, and they're out there, and they're getting not just team reps, individual reps, routes on air, and then team reps. And so we believe in that wholeheartedly. When you look at like the explosion that Emmett's made from, kind of sharing time to you think about like last year's bowl game. He was the tailback was the bowl game MVP, but it wasn't him. And it was Ramir, which we love and Emmett loved. So now where he's like this featured back, and I walk in, I have a Emmett for Heisman shirt on my desk. It's pretty cool. But that's not a function of something that happened this year. That's a function of just 3 years worth of his work and development, but also kind of the process. So when I look at some of our young players, I see what they're going to be in 2 or 3 or 4 years.
Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Live. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ.
You want me to do the voice to lead us in?
Which one?
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's pretty good. That's not bad.
It's not bad, right?
We've had some good comments in the chat here. CFB Professor says...
we got some new guys in the chat today.
CFB Professor's usually there. He doesn't comment all the time.
Oh, gotcha. He's a silent witness.
He is, but he listens to the show a lot. I know that.
Rico.
But he says, this is one of the best takes I've seen in this chat, maybe ever. Says In-N-Out is the SEC Ponzi scheme of fast food burger joints. Tons of hype, little payoff.
Okay, I'm not on the Five Guys train either. Like Five Guys, In-N-Out, I think they're just like overhyped fodder. Especially like In-N-Out pricing's a little bit better than Five Guys. Five Guys, like I'm spending my week salary out there just to eat one day.
Five Guys has gotten aggressive in terms of their pricing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I prefer the food over In-N-Out.
Okay.
I'm trying to decide.
What's your like?
But here's
do you have like you're on a road trip, right? And I know you don't like drive like I drive, but like you're on a road trip and you had any option available. Where do you stop?
Oh, I
got a really underrated one.
So I really like Steak and Shake.
Good pick. I like Steak and Shake.
Yeah,
I don't see it as often though.
Yeah, so I
go the wrong direction most often.
I would say I think they're very regional and like just east of here.
There's
like
one in Des Moines,
Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, kind of that area. CFB Professor says Five Guys is the Notre Dame in that scenario.
Jeez. Wow.
Just on a heater.
How many more can you get in there? Okay, Rico. Jeez. Rico's sitting at home just hitting sound effects.
The difference.
Rico, give me a new sound effect, not the ones that are already pre-programmed. I want you to surprise us.
The difference for me is I don't think Five Guys is nearly as hyped as In-N-Out. So I think the food to me is pretty similar. Now I've had Five Guys way more because there's one here as opposed to not an In-N-Out.
Literally one here.
But I think the food is similar. The hype is what differentiates those two. Way more hype for In-N-Out than I've ever heard anybody talk about Five Guys. I do like. I used to love Steak and Shake. That was a place I would go to a lot.
I'm a sucker for a good shake. I'm a sucker for a good shake.
I like a.
That's why Shake Shack, like Shake Shack chocolate shake, and you pair that with the fries.
So
Little
here's
dip.
my combo that I like that you're gonna get me with. I like a smash burger. I like a thin fry, and obviously shakes are elite.
So you just described Freddy's.
I do love Freddy's.
I'm anti-Freddy's. I'm out on Freddy's.
You're anti-Freddy's?
Anti-Freddy's. Freddy's opened up in Kearney when I was in college out there. Here we go. It opened up and everyone just like flocked there and everyone was having a good time.
Yeah.
Went there once. Not impressed. Not for me. Now I haven't went back. Maybe I need to reopen that wound a little bit. I don't know.
I love Freddy's. I do think it's a not quite as good version of Steak and Shake.
Okay.
That would be my argument. Although
But there's more available.
Yes.
So yeah.
So it's easier. It's my local fix for Steak and Shake.
Yeah. You're not on the Culver's train?
Oh, I was just gonna mention Culver's.
Okay.
Love Culver's.
See, I'm a calorie watcher, so I can't go to Culver's.
When I'm on a road trip, that doesn't count. Road trip calories don't count.
That is true.
Road trip calories, vacation calories do not count.
Also, underrated joke, if you're in a group of people and you're traveling somewhere, best joke you can ever make is, hey, calories don't count. And I always at it and be like, hey, did you guys hear? President said this weekend calories don't count. It always hits.
Headley went to Freddy's last night. I like Freddy's a lot. Culver's is really, really good. Again, you got this kind of the smash burger. You got the really good bun. And then I'm a big cheese curds guy. Like the cheese curds are elite.
Yeah.
Their French fries are fine. They're not as good as I want a French fry to be.
I'd agree. There's better versions of that fry elsewhere.
Because it's the crinkle cut, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Runza crinkle cut is better than the Culver's crinkle cut.
Yep.
Runza has a different style burger, which is still very, very good.
Yes.
I think I prefer the Culver's style burger, but they're both very good.
If you're lining up burgers in front of me, I will probably pick Culver's, but I will always go to Runza.
If I'm going
that's like how I would differentiate it.
Sure. I do like the fries better at Runza for sure. If I want French fries and those are my options, I'm definitely going to Runza because I'm not getting fries at Culver's. I'm always getting cheese curds.
Right.
100% of the time.
You're not one of those sickos who just is like, oh, mashed potatoes on the side?
No, not even a little bit.
I love those people.
That's also the weird part about Culver's. You just got some like you could get roast beef, or you get like a pot roast,
pork tenderloin,
and I'm like,
hell yeah, brother! I had a pork tenderloin at a bowling alley the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was real good.
It was
real good.
It was really romantic.
That is the right noise for that. Thank you.
Let's get to
no, I like what we're doing right now.
No, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
We got 18 minutes to burn right now.
Got plenty of time. I'm trying to think of other. So listen, this is an unpopular take that I'm about to.
Are you about to McDonald's me right now?
No, I mean I do eat a decent amount of McDonald's.
Can we just say this though? McDonald's is like the bar. Like if we're on a scale of 10, I would say it's 5, and it's okay for it to be like higher or lower,
yes,
but like it should be the median. Like we should judge everyone else's off of that.
McDonald's is my safety school.
Yeah.
Like if I don't know,
like I didn't get to Harvard, so I went to McDonald's. That's like
exactly. Yeah. If I'm going around and I'm like, hey, like I really want to go get something like I want Freddy's or I want Steak and Shake or I want Shake Shack or whatever. And I don't see any of those. And all I see is things that I'm not either I haven't tried or it's a local thing. And I'm like, I'm going to go with McDonald's here. I know it's safe.
Right.
I know I can get what I want from McDonald's. I'll be fine. It won't be great. It'll be pretty good.
Yep.
You know,
and you know what it is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
you know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah. QPC?
What's that?
QPC?
What is that?
Quarter pounder cheese.
Oh no, it depends.
That's my like decadent McDonald's. I'll just go I'll just go cheap on that.
So on McDonald's, I'm either going. I love a chicken nug.
Ooh,
I'm a big chicken McNugget guy. I will always get French fries and Diet Coke.
Hot and spicy McChicken for me.
Here's the problem with the hot and spicy McChicken.
Well, do not slander my hot and spicy McChicken right now.
It's all the spicy's all sauce. Like I don't feel like they season.
Well, no. It's not sauce. Sauce is the mayo. There's no spicy sauce.
Which one am I thinking? There's a different spicy chicken sandwich that's all sauce there.
Oh, it's probably their newer versions. The hot and spicy McChicken is just the McChicken sandwich.
Oh,
and then it's the breading is hot.
I'm thinking of one with the orange.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That one is just the heat's all sauce and it like you don't taste anything else.
Yeah, I'm anti like the Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich it's not really that spicy. People think that's spicy. No. It's crazy, but like it's
good flavor.
The breading is spicy, which makes it flavorful.
Yeah,
right?
It's good flavor. Yes. So I would take the Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is similar to that for me. Like I'm not obsessed with Chick-fil-A the way some people is. It's a slightly better version of McDonald's to me in terms of safety school. I'll go get some waffle fries, whatever. I like my Polynesian sauce.
Dude, the chocolate chip cookie from there though always hits.
You know, like I Yeah. Oh, so it's the McChicken. It's the spicy McChicken.
Yeah, that's what I said. The hot and spicy McChicken.
Oh, it's a different one. I don't know. The one I'm talking about, the one with the orange sauce. The one with the orange sauce is overrated.
Okay.
But what I'll do, if I want just a crappy cheeseburger.
Oh no.
It's McDonald's. I just
okay. No, I see. Yeah, right.
Because I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love their crappy cheeseburger, but it's a crappy cheeseburger.
Do I venture out and get a Whopper after this conversation?
And I haven't had a burger from Burger King in literal years.
I've had a Whopper in my lifetime, and I know exactly where I was when I got it.
Yeah.
And I remember the circumstance because I was like, I don't really want Burger King. And the guy was like, well, I'm going. I was like, I've never tried it. I guess I'll go. And I remember being like, this is a lot better than I expected it to be, but it didn't get me back there. So I don't know. And there's a Burger King right by my house. maybe I test that.
Wyatt says Ravi likes the Polynesian sauce because it matches his ethnicity.
Okay. Only can say that in the chat. Can't say that live.
Well, no, it's because I think it was going back to the joke I made about. Well, it wasn't a joke. It's what I used to do to people in college. But
where are you on Arby's?
So that was my hot take.
Oh no, is this good or bad?
I love Arby's.
My man.
I love Arby's.
Let's do this.
Like my whole life, I have loved Arby's.
Other than the price of it, man. Like it's good. It's
Dude,
good.
I don't care. I like curly fries. If I had to pick one fast food item to eat for the rest of my life, I'm going curly fries from Arby's.
100%. Yeah,
Full
actually,
stop.
that's 100% correct.
Like no questions
does
asked.
not get the credit it deserves. Much like Nebraska's wins does not get the credit. Like it.
I will take curly fries over every other fast food item on the planet.
I second that.
No questions asked.
Underrated snacks on that menu item,
Dude,
too.
the Mott Sticks are legit.
Mott Sticks are good.
Their Mott Sticks are very good.
Chicken bites are real good.
Haven't had the chicken bites.
Chicken bites are good. And if you just want to do I want the taste of Italy of Arby's, and you just do the mini sliders, dude, the mini sliders hit. You can get
You kill me with the taste of Italy of Arby's.
You can get the little roast beef, a little chicken, all those are so good. And they're $1.49. You just eat them in 2 bites. It's fantastic.
They're I just like how you're putting together an app sampler of at Arby's.
Tour of Arby's.
The Rico's right. The chicken strips are not bad. I think it's the chicken bacon Swiss sandwich is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously I love the original beef and cheddar roast beef sandwich. Elite.
The problem with Arby's though is it has, much like Nebraska football, a marketing problem where its marketing is good, but the people that I've surrounded myself with, I'm not going to Arby's.
They have a PR problem.
I have to eat it shamefully. I can't let people know. I throw that brown paper bag away. I throw it in the trash can outside of the house. Nobody knows that I went there.
Yeah.
But we're a big Sonic household. We love Sonic.
I love Sonic's pretty good.
Sonic's their burger's really underrated. Getting that foil and everything.
So the burger's pretty good. I like their tots.
The tots are very overrated.
They are overrated.
They're always too burnt. They're always too crispy.
So I'll lean to an over crispy tot over a soft tot. I'm not taking it
I don't need my tot to fall apart.
Yeah. Or even if it's squishy.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's the steam gets to them. I'm out. I'm not even eating.
Yeah. If you give me the tot in the covered container, I'm out.
Yeah. I'm not eating those tots.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Their tots are good. They're not great.
But they should be known for the tots. That's the thing. It's that should be their thing.
I'm not just saying this because we work here. You know who has elite tots?
Actually, Hurrdat
Sports Bar and Grill has incredible tots. I'm not even.
They're actually
seasoned. Oh, they're so good.
Not just salt and pepper.
Incredible tots.
You should get some out of it.
The Sonic is good. I go there for drinks a lot. I love.
Oh yeah.
I love.
I'm not making bones about it. I'm not going out there to eat once a week.
Yeah, every once in a while. In the summer, the wife and I go there for drinks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go get dietary.
The one by
wine.
South?
No, we go to the one up north.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha.
By the movie theater.
They're weirdly spaced out in Omaha.
They are. There's one pretty close to us.
Yeah.
Over here or by the sports bar,
Mm-hmm.
but potato olays are really good. That's probably the best fast food tot.
Are you
out on potato olays?
I'm out on all places that start with taco. We've always had bad experiences. Can't do listen, we had our fearless leader Sasha got us Taco Bell the other day. I had my first Taco Bell taco. It's fine. It's good.
Listen, you're not Taco Bell taco is
the way people talk about, like, I have avoided Taco Bell and Taco John's in my time, and like people act like I was like a leper. They didn't even know what I was doing.
I like Taco Bell more than most. I have been known in my powerlifting days to just go get
the perfect calorie dense meal.
To just go get a taco 12-pack and just have myself an evening.
6-pack and a pound.
So I actually never did the 6-pack and a pound. I wasn't a huge Taco John's guy, but I do love their potato Olays.
So the potato Olays, to get back to that, potato Olays are very good. I just can't eat the amount that they always give you. There's always too many, and then I just get inundated with it.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Cheesecake Factory cheesecake, where it's like so good that you shouldn't finish it all.
You're like, I need 3 bites of this, and then I'm good.
Right, yeah. Like, I have that problem with the potato Olays. I do admit that they are very good.
I've never had that problem with any sort of tater tot.
We're just built different. We are different animals.
You're a stamina athlete.
That is true. Listen, I just want the tour. I want the tour of Arby's. That's all that I need. Like,
listen, I'm glad that we have common ground on Arby's. It's hard to find someone who appreciates the cuisine that is Arby's.
Well, so growing up, the other reason I love Arby's so much is growing up in Sydney, there was an Arby's there that no one ever went to except for me and my buddy Ryan.
Yeah.
We would drive through that thing all the time, and we would get our food before we paid. Because we were the only customers there. Would be there for like hours, and they'd be like, "Oh no, anything you need." Apple turnovers too.
Low-key, really good.
So good.
Really good apple turnovers.
Again, much better than what you could get at the McDonald's. The apple turnover, very, very
Listen,
good.
I'm very high on Arby's.
Yeah.
That was my fast food hot take. When you ask me on a road trip what I'm looking for, it's like, I'm looking for some MF and Arby's.
Listen, if you're on your own on a road trip, you can do whatever you want, right? Like Arby's by yourself. You can't convince. There's no group of 4 people who are driving anywhere together that everyone in that car is comfortable getting Arby's.
That's correct. Yeah.
It's kind of tough.
Yeah, it is. That is an accurate statement.
And also, it doesn't help that Arby's has like the grossest names for their food items. You want a beef and cheddar?
You want a meat tornado?
Low key too. The Euro's really good.
I haven't had the Euro.
Euro's really good. Yeah. I had a buddy who bought out the Carney Arby's Wagyu burgers when they came out too. He bought like 30 of them because he was like, I can't get enough of this. He was backed up for weeks.
I will say,
poor Kyle.
He goes, Meat Mountain. Husker Power, I don't care. It's fast food. I assume it's all prepared horribly.
It's all slop, dude.
It's like all prepared horribly. I've seen how they make the McDonald's McChicken nuggets. I've seen how they make Arby's meat. Listen, you're talking to a guy who is a hot dog connoisseur. I know how they make hot dogs too. I don't care. I don't care.
That's actually the exact reason I chose in like my younger lifeline to never work in fast food, because I was like, I love this place to eat. I don't want to know how the bread's actually made. I don't need that.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't. And maybe I'm supposed to, but like, unless I see him like grinding up a dead body in there or something, like, I'm cool.
Yeah, man.
Like, it's just like, whatever. I get it.
You get real Western, put kangaroo in there.
I understand the only way you can bring me food at these prices is in a horrible, horrible fashion.
Yeah, okay, Corey, I know what you're saying. The Euro is surprisingly passable. Really good's a stretch. We're at Arby's. We're in a drive-thru. Like, any type of Euro that you hand me through a window, I'll be like, sure. This is pretty good.
This hasn't killed me?
Yeah.
Win. That's a W.
Hot Danger Soylent Green. Oh, that's a good reference, Hot Danger. Good reference.
Yeah. Let's get to bet on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I gotta write these podcast descriptions. I don't even know what to put for this thing. Fast food frenzy. Or should I put tour of Arby's?
Yeah, tour of Arby's.
This is in real time. You guys understand. If you're a podcast listener, you get to understand how I just write these descriptions and titles out. I don't get as fancy with it anymore.
This is how the magic happens.
We're out here, right?
All right, let's get to bet on it. Brought to you by Warhorse Casino and Sportsbook. They have much better food than anything we've been talking about here at their ale house connected to the casino and Sportsbook. It's incredible. Make sure you get it out there. Listen, here's the deal. If you're in Nebraska right now, you got to drive somewhere to make your bets anyway. Mm-hmm. Why drive to Iowa and give your money to those losers? Stay in Nebraska. Give your money to people from Nebraska. If you're going to, drive to make the bet anyway. Drive to Warhorse Sportsbook. Download the app. Once you get there, you can make your bet quickly and easily. They got locations in Lincoln and in Omaha. It's the best place in Nebraska to place your sports bets. All right, let's start off with the only SEC game of any consequence in the slate tomorrow.
Okay.
We've got Missouri and Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a 6.5-point favorite. You've got a backup quarterback for Missouri. You've got John Mateer still not playing that well after coming back from the injury, but it is a home game for the Sooners. How you feeling with Oklahoma minus 6.5?
Tough game for me. I am a big Eli Drinkowitz guy. I've also been big on Missouri the past couple of years, and they've always disappointed me, which is just kind of Missouri's MO. Mateer, I thought, is actually, I know that his stats haven't backed it up, but I don't think that he's put Oklahoma in positions to lose games, but everything else around him has worked to win. 6.5 feels like a bit much too. I think I like Oklahoma in the game, but I would say the points just make me uncomfortable. Covers? Yeah, I think Missouri covers that.
I think this is Oklahoma has to win this to stay in playoff contention. I think they win. I think maybe they get some style points as well. I'm taking the Sooners minus the 6.5.
Listen, I wouldn't mind seeing Mateer actually go off. I liked it when he was in the Heisman conversation. I thought he was a really good quarterback.
Yeah, that was very brief. That was when he was playing teams that he was used to playing at Washington State.
That is true.
The group of 5.
I think I just like saying the name John Mateer.
John Mateer. It's a great name. It's a good name.
Good quarterback name.
It's a good quarterback name. It's a average quarterback so far this year.
Tough.
He's 8-7.
You're right. You're right.
Come on.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, as soon as he started playing real teams, which was my question about John Mateer in the offseason, hey, if he was playing an FCS schedule, I'd be thrilled to death for him. Sign him up for the Harmon Trophy tomorrow.
Lower third request, Rico. Just make one that says #Ravi was right. We'll throw it on screen for 3 seconds, every time during the postseason when you're oh, well, here's another thing I was correct about.
Absolutely. That's my favorite. That would be my favorite part of the show, without a doubt. I think it's really interesting here. This is just a note. The Miami Virginia Tech spread is off the board. There is no
what?
There is at least according to ESPN, there is currently no spread on that game. They've taken it off the board.
It's
very strange.
That's very odd.
And I'm trying to figure out why. I don't know if it's the James Franklin of it all, has introduced a very odd element to this game.
What's the total?
It is 48.5.
Huh.
I'm sure you can find a number somewhere, but for ESPN, which is what I use every week,
it
is off the board.
Let's see. Wow, that's crazy.
That's very strange. Yeah.
Oh, this one, Vegas Insider has it at 15.5 Miami.
Okay. 15.5 Miami. You know what?
That seems right.
I'm feeling a little spicy. Give me Vatek. Invigorated with the hiring of James Franklin. And
I'd go under.
Just hilarious if Miami loses to Virginia Tech to no longer be the college football.
Well, and also
that's very on brand for
history repeats itself. Stop me if you've heard this before. Miami loses a game late in the season to make themselves out of a college football playoff conversation.
Love it. Yeah. Let's do that again.
Also, the ACC being as weird as possible is what I'm rooting for, because I want only one ACC team to get in, and that is the champion. And I'm actually kind of hoping it's Duke if they win out, which would be even funnier.
Hilarious.
So, yes.
Another line that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Texas, just an 8.5-point favorite over 2-8 Arkansas.
Yeah.
At home. That's wild.
Well, so Arkansas, if you've been paying attention, they actually do play a lot of their opponents pretty close. But
and listen, Taylor Green's a problem.
Yes,
but again, this is the only a slightly worse version of the Penn State argument that I'm making.
Did you say 6?
8.5.
Oh, 8.5. Oh, that is way too much.
So
way too much.
I'm gonna go DB here and say it's low for a reason. I'm gonna take Arkansas. Also, would just be hilarious if Texas lost to a 2-8 Arkansas team.
I would also second that too, just because Arkansas, notably, they're probably waiting for their big matchup. And every SEC game matters. Sure, you can convince me of that. But something about Texas and Arkansas, it's a premier program. It's the team that has the number on them. Arkansas gets this win. They probably feel really good about themselves. And it's probably the last game Arkansas can get themselves high up on their season for and say, hey, at least we had a high note this year. That'd be fun.
Also a wild card in this situation. There's been a lot of weird Texas Steve Sarkisian talk this week.
A little more than just murmurs.
Yeah,
it's turned into whispers.
He had to come out and address it.
Yeah.
Maybe a little distraction. We saw Nebraska against Minnesota. Distraction is not great for a ball club.
No.
Maybe have that in Texas too. I'm taking Arkansas there. USC Oregon, by far the best game of the day. I believe that's where College Game Day is at as well.
As it should be.
Oregon, pretty heavy favorite at home here, minus 10.5.
I like USC in this game.
You like USC in this game?
I really, and I'm an Oregon honk. I do like Oregon. I've been a
Big
Dan
Dante
Lanning
Moore guy.
Huge Dante Moore guy. I don't know if I like USC enough to win. 10.5 is a lot. USC has played a lot of games close, and they have played a lot of good teams to that quality level. But as big of an Oregon honk as I've been this season, I don't know if they're 10.5 points better than USC.
Here's my pause, is I think Oregon is significantly more physical than USC. That's a recipe we've seen hurt USC, especially on the road. The only time they were able to overcome that was the Michigan win. That was at home.
So you didn't watch their Iowa win last week?
That's not a very good Iowa team.
You're talking about physicality.
That's not a very good.
They won it in the rain.
Congrats.
Okay.
Also, it was at home.
Okay.
I get it was in the rain, but it was at home.
They brought the Iowa rain with them.
Sure.
Okay.
My gut says USC here, just because I don't love how Oregon's been playing.
Yep.
I am going to take USC. I think to cover, I wouldn't mess around with the money line there in terms of taking the win. Real quick here as we wrap up the segment. Georgia Tech, 2.5-point favorite against Pitt at home. That's 7-3 Pitt, 9-1 Georgia Tech. There's both just one loss in the ACC. Pitt has a shot at the ACC title still. How you feeling?
Well, Narduzzi said that this was the most important 2 weeks of their season, was it not? So
he did.
They have to be able to get this one.
The dues.
Georgia Tech has been riding the line of basically being a team that could be 5 and 6, or just being a top 25 team. The pressure is going to mount on them at some point, and turnovers will be a big factor. I think Pittsburgh might be able to nip them here. So I'm going to actually take Pittsburgh outright. That line is a little too close for me to feel comfortable saying, oh, yeah, Georgia Tech's for sure the better team. I don't think that there's that distinctive a line between the two. I will lean towards Pittsburgh, and I would actually take a money line as well.
I'm taking Georgia Tech here because I think Pat Narduzzi's weird stance last week is just a bad kind of juju to put over a team.
Melted their mentality.
This game doesn't matter and whatever. I think that's a bad way to head into a football game. I think it bites them. I've got Georgia Tech here to not just win, but cover the 2.5 as well. All right, last one before we get to Nebraska. BYU, Cincinnati, classic Big 12 matchup. BYU is a 2.5-point favorite on the road at Cincinnati. Speaking of teams that kind of run through the raindrops a little bit, BYU has fit that mold all year long. How are you feeling about the Cougars and the Bearcats?
It's tough. I don't know what to think because I think Cincinnati almost fell into free fall just like a couple of weeks ago, and they definitely felt that way. I feel like I have to trust BYU, and I think I would lean that way. And I would hate putting any money on this. So I guess like speaking rhetorically, if I have to go one way, I'm going to trust BYU in that sense.
Stay away for me, but
yeah. But like personally, I don't want to touch that because again, it's in that Big 12 pool of like I don't really know what's going on over there. I'm just gonna like let them fight it out and figure it out. But I guess I'd lean BYU in there.
I'm choosing the narrative that I need. That is Cincinnati being a good team and winning here. I've got the Bearcats. I'm taking them to pull the upset.
Okay.
Although it is at home, I do think it's on the table.
Yeah.
All right. Nebraska, Penn State. Nebraska is currently a 7.5-point dog. That's down a field goal from where it opened. You know how I feel. How do you feel?
I feel the same way that I was talking about before. I think it's going to be a 4-quarter game. It's going to be close. Both teams average just under 29 points per game. So whatever that total point is, take the under because I think this is going to be a much closer game. I'm going to say, and I'll even give you a final, I think it's 17-13 Nebraska. And I think they score in the fourth quarter to take that lead and win the game.
I'm going Nebraska. I think they win. I think they cover. And I think it's 28-20. That's what I've said all week. That's what I think it is. I think Nebraska wins this game. I think Penn State shows why they're a 4-6 ball club.
28's been a good number for Nebraska.
Why they are 1-6 in Big Ten play. Because whatever their talent level, they have not found ways to win games. I think Nebraska, like you said, has been the opposite of that this year. They find ways to win games. They've played well. I think they go out and in front of a not that hostile Happy Valley. I think Nebraska wins this game 28-20. Regardless of what happens, it'll be me and are you on postgame or is it Rico this week?
It's Rico.
It'll be me and Rico on Hail Varsity postgame immediately following the game to give our reactions to however this one goes. But you'll know there might be much happier reactions if Nebraska wins like we think.
Yeah. I'm for it.
There you go. That is the
Come
show
on, baby. Come
for today. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. We will be back on Monday with more Hurrdat Sports Live.